And we have one more person coming in.
One more person coming in.
Don King.
Oh, Don King. It's Don King.
Well, sir, Don motherfucking King.
The famous Don King.
This is why Don King is successful. 8:30 schedule, 8:29.
You don't fuck around.
On-time guest ever.
You don't mess around, right, Don?
That is correct. That is correct. Only in America.
And he's only in America, and there he is in a red, white, and blue jacket on. He's got that denim is all airbrushed with Mount Rushmore's on there.
Iwo Jima.
Apparently, he's an Obama fan.
Oh, absolutely.
Apparently, an Obama. That's the biggest Obama button I ever saw in my life.
America fan, man. This time is changed in America.
It certainly has.
Yes.
I'm taxed up the asshole. Thanks very much.
Yes. Yes. Well, you know, it's good to be able to get to write it on before you write it off. You know what I mean? So it's good to be taxed.
Is it?
Better than sitting on the stoop.
It's really not.
Better than sitting on the stoop.
Hey, didn't you have some tax problems in your day?
Yeah, I paid.
All right.
I paid $36 million one year, $36 million the next year.
Jesus. Oh, geez.
I put out a big press release paying the taxes. No loopholes. Paying the cash.
Do you actually do you do that like on your own easy form budget? If you like H&R
just do the easy.
That was good. That's when times were good.
It's not enough bosses.
Times are bad now.
Don, what's up with the hair?
Well, the hair is the Wii game. The Wii game that we have that we're making now is a boxing game that is life. Life is boxing, and boxing is life. That's what people have to understand. It's a struggle.
No, I mean your hair, though. It's not
I know,
like
but I'm
high.
telling you how the hair got there because it's in the struggle, fighting all along. You know what I mean? And fighting for better jobs, for housing, for health care, and all the different things. Like ping, 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 and start going up, you know, reaching for the heavens because that's what we have to do.
Ah,
you know
right.
What I mean?
It's a metaphor.
Now, yes. Now you find me sitting here with the new game that's bringing on life, giving us our problems. You can pick your own champion, fight in Madison Square Garden, or fight at the Boardwalk in Trump Taj Mahal. Wherever you want to be, you are the one. You're the star. This is the people's game.
And now, are you in the game in some capacity?
Yes, I have all the fighters that are there that were fighting, like real fighters like Larry Holmes, Joe Louis, all of them. You can pick whoever you want to fight, Calzaghe. And then we strategize the game to meet your problems head of, frontward, head, would you say, confront them. Rather than try to put your head in the sand like an ostrich and try to evade, procrastinate, you face your problem. Because if you run out of gas, there ain't no gas station in sight. You can't call timeout, send in a substitute. There's no substitute. You got to deal with your problems real and pragmatically right before you.
Now, do you get to have like a career stats in this game and work your way up?
Well, you have more than that. You have an exercise program. You have the jump rope, you have the heavy bag hitting, you have the exercises. And in order to play the game, you got to do these exercises.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, you got a balance board, which gives you coordination in your life. You must have balance in your life. So you have to coordinate so you can create and initiate rather than defend and improve all the time. You know what I mean? So you have to use your mind and use your body. So it really gives you fun while you're getting physical fitness, and at the same time, you become a champion of the people.
Did you have any problem getting any of the, because I know the fighters have to sign off to be in the game. Like, are there any relationships that were damaged with boxers where they wouldn't allow you to use them in the game, or it was you got everybody you wanted?
No, we get whoever we want because the guys want to be there. They want to be a part of progress and reform. As you know, custom and tradition is diametrically opposed to progress and reform. So it's always how we used to do it. How we used to do it don't count. Ain't nothing good about the good old days, but that they're gone. You must come on with the new, and be able to deal with what is real and understand what it means to be a great American. America is the greatest country in the world by none. And
not into the nostalgia.
Only one, people try to break in. This is the only country that try to break in instead of trying to break out. Mm-hmm. Everybody else talking, and people coming across the water every kind of way, swimming. I got some Cubans that dived into the ocean to take a swim. To swim 90 miles to get here, and that sharks jumping up and down trying to bite them. You know what I mean? They knock out the sharks and keep coming.
Is that in the game,
Freedom.
too?
Yeah, that's that.
That'd be a good part of the game.
Just part of Madison Square Garden. We call him the swimmer. His name is Angelo Santana. What a terrific fighter he is.
Really?
Yeah. And undefeated right now. He ain't got 8-0, but look what he braved the inclement hazards of the weather. You know what I mean? And the ocean to get to America, to freedom, liberty. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty.
Do you have any problem with anything that goes on in America, or you just love America?
No, you got listen, you got ups and downs. You're going to have a problem with life. That's what makes this game. That was so on time, boy. Look like we had this thing orchestrated.
Oh, sure.
When you got problems, is what you have in everyday struggle of life. Without struggle, there's no progress. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have joys and sorrow, pain. You know, you're going to have these things, but you got to overcome them. You can't sit down and rest in your laurels and drown in your own tears. You must get knocked down. You get up, dust yourself off, get back into the game. You know what I mean? You got to be able to continue to fight and struggle on for a better America, black and white alike. Working together works.
Yeah,
I need him to call me every morning and just say
give you that pep speech.
just every morning with my coffee.
Because I'm just like, this country's great. It's full opportunity. I got to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted.
You should have that on an alarm clock.
Yeah.
Man, you'd have a pep. You'd have a pep in your step every day.
John King alarm clock. You got to look into that.
That's a good idea.
Everyone wakes up, they're so shocked their hair looks like yours.
Yeah.
America's the finest. Snooze. 9 minutes. Country in the world. Play the Wii game.
Yes. And you can get it on DS too. You know, for the little kids, they can spend their $20 and things. All of the little kids is playing it, the old, the young, and it's an aphrodisiac. Because what you do is listen, you're talking when the moment is right.
Apple?
When you say CLO, the moment is right. The moment is right because you be so physically fit that everything that died comes back to life, is resurrected. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
and
right.
it gives you a chance to be able to be a part and parcel of the family again, like you should have been. You know what I mean? So this is the things you got to understand. When you're trading and working and playing this game, you're doing it for fun, but at the same time, automatically and systematically, you're becoming physically fit again.
It also cures cancer, Don.
Yes, well, you know what? If you keep your blood flowing right and you're doing all the things it does,
that's
prevent
healthy.
cancer.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
So you got to understand, if you're physically fit, you can't lay around lazy, lethargic, can't rise to the occasion, and then figure everything is going to happen for you. You got to break a sweat, man. Pick out your champion. Do what you got to do, but at the same time, it's fitting for you. It's making you feel good, so your little son, Johnny, your little girl, Mary, can say, Daddy, you know, you're looking good. You know, you feel good. You look at Mommy again, and your eyes start to roll, and you think about, thanks for the memories, oh, how it used to be. You bring used to be back to the forefront.
As long as Mommy's playing also.
Yes.
If she's not, you're out at the bar looking at something that might be...
Different strokes for different folks, but don't condemn America because you can't hold your home.
He's got a million of them.
Yeah.
Hey, I just
have you met Obama? I want to talk to him about Obama.
No, we all were going for questions. Not only you, also Jimmy.
We
all
all were
like
chiming in. Have you met Obama?
Absolutely.
You did?
Listen, it's changed. You know, on January the 9th and at noon, America gave birth to a new nation.
Day that will live in infamy?
Yes, the name Hope, Change, Freedom. You know what I mean? Conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. But you cannot forget the fallen heroes that marched, that sing, that cried, that died for this great country. Goodman, Cheney, Swerner, Viola Luiso, you know what I mean? Emmett Till, Medgar Evans, Robert Kennedy, John F. Kennedy. They were the Temptations because they fought for freedom. And so you got to be able, but they left a task that's unfinished, and that's what you and I are going to do. Finish that task. Keep marching, keep singing, keep praying, and we shall overcome. Because we're going to do it together, black and white alike, working together simultaneously for a better America.
You know, he don't even
got a lot
need
of
you.
Spirit.
He doesn't need you.
No.
Just turn it on.
Yeah.
If Don
Oh,
King,
yes, we do.
that's
We
right.
need each other. We can't go with that. That's when you get so carried off with your lofty aspirations and self-aggrandizement, you forget that you do need each other.
What? I wasn't listening.
Yeah, and I need you. Oh, man, without you, we're nothing.
He's always complaining. And I happen to
He's
be
good,
a big Democrat, and Anthony is always complaining about the taxes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Going to like Obama's going to raise taxes, but I always say you have to have it to give it away, right?
That's right. Not only that, what do you get the goods and services? How do you have to have? You have to write it on before you write it on. You know what I mean? And how do you get the goods and services? How do you get the electricity? Get this, that. All these things are
By
goods
paying my
and services.
electric bill, Don.
No. But they didn't get there by paying the electric bill. They was creating electricity. You know what I mean? When that little guy with the little key and Benjamin Franklin shooting up there and a lightning bolt hit the, to start out doing it. Henry Ford making the car. We outsource all of our jobs, and then we complain about why we ain't got no working here.
Well,
you know
that's
what I mean?
true.
You know what I mean?
I
So
gotta
we
give
do
you
all
that.
those things. What you call, that's what you call the slave master mentality, capitalism with the slave master mentality, where you can work people, they don't have no rights. They want you to work and they get you for cheap. If you start arguing about, I'm putting in too much time for too little money, get out of here. You go to the police, hey, you're an alien, get out. You know what I mean? That's your alien problem. You know what I mean? So when you want to work people and get for nothing, and then you get the unions, you build up all these wonderful things, 5 days a week, 4 days a week, get the benefits, and then you go behind their back and go get the thing 10 times cheaper, leave the union standing there. Now they say they want to go on a strike, and you say, "Oh, this is un-American. They don't want to do the right thing." You know what I mean? So we want it both ways. You know what I mean? You can't have it both ways. You got to go for the betterment of America first, and then party second.
That's true. I bet I've been doing my part. I do. I pay a lot of taxes.
Yes, right. And you make a lot of money. You couldn't pay them if you didn't have no money. You got 40% of the population don't pay no taxes.
I'm a 50-50 partner with the United States
there
government.
There you go. What a wonderful thing. God bless you, man. I salute you. Yeah,
I kind of wasn't putting
my
it that way.
fellow American, right on.
Not a wonderful thing.
That is great. That is so great, man.
He's turned Anthony around. This is
Anthony is great, man. And Opie, this is what it's
This is
all
how he
about.
does it, man. He just keeps talking. You're like, all right, I'll sign it. Whatever. $5 a fight. You get the rest of it.
And then you got the protection, the security, our troops, man. Support our troops, the vanguard of our nation that enable us to do this. How are they going to support them if you don't have the taxes?
That's why, at least, when I pay taxes, at least if I know if it's going to a rivet, to a tail fin of a bomb, I feel okay.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's good. That's what Obama is doing now. He's bringing transparency. We've been
bringing in rivets.
We've been getting all these stories, but we don't know what's really going on. You just said it. You want to know where your money is going, how it's going to be spent. Now, when he tries to do that, they say, "Oh, look at him. He's going to take over the government. He's going to take over GM. They're going to do this." What do they want? The $350 billion that they gave before, they didn't have no restraints. They didn't have no kind of regulations. What the hell is going on with the taxpayers' money? Now you go in and you say, you ain't going to do this. We're going to restructure. We're going to quit giving you money to a failed operation. We're going to put in Operation X that's going to be profitable or nothing. Oh, look at him now. He's taking over the government. He's doing this, taking over the company. What do you want? Do you want to live in prosperity, peace, and understand safety and security for your family, education for your kids? You know what I mean?
I'd like a little more transparency with Congress.
We've got to work on that.
That'd be a nice thing.
Well,
see where that money's going to. When you have an 11,000,
you got a right to ask for that.
When you have an 11,000-page bill,
you got a right to ask for that.
Yeah,
but you know what? Ask for that. Don't quit condemning with the big broad brush. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what we do. We get caught out there.
Right?
You know what I mean? Opie, I'm telling you,
Jimmy tells me all the time.
He condemns with his giant spit, and I'm like, dude, it's a new day. And
it's a new day. That's what it is.
It's a new day.
A new day. You remember that?
It's going to be Jimmy's last day.
Yeah. Well, don't be vindictive. Be with love. Remember that Jesus in Revelation chapter 16, behold.
Yeah.
I make all things new. Former things are passed away. I mean, it's a new day. You can't keep hanging on. You know what I mean? At the same time, saying you want something new, you want change.
That's very good. I understand that.
And you're doing well.
How come they don't do that to the bankers, though?
The same thing. That's what they didn't do, and that's why the mistake. Now he's trying to correct the mistakes of previous
By yelling
activity.
at guys who make cars.
Bankers.
Hey, you car makers.
You're the problem.
Yeah, you're the problem. But that $750 billion that bankers kept when they bought up by the banks.
GM, the guy.
Yeah, it's going to be, listen, man, we got to go out there. We got to just restructure and go out there and work together. You know what I mean? We gave this other thing 300 years to get in this position. Let's give us 300 years now to go forward.
Well, I know you're going to be very sympathetic with wearing a button the size of one of the Spartan shields.
Yes, you know what?
That is a big Obama button.
All the 44 presidents.
Oh, is that it?
That's what that is.
But look at what it gets to. Obama's in the middle.
The zeitgeist.
The
zeitgeist, the spirit of the time.
The tastiest part of a Cinnabon.
Yes, that's right. Right in the middle.
See?
Remember Iowa. Iowa is the history just like we did with Iowa, baby. And, just like we did the Alamo. The Alamo is one of the most patriotic acts in our history. Getting Texas, we're from Santa Ana. You know what I mean? And the 13 days of glory that those guys gave their lives for liberty and freedom. Yeah, at the Alamo. Now, Iowa, 96.5 white, 1% black, and 2% something else. All right, now they voted and started the machine for
See
a
how
change.
Scary black people are?
Yes.
1% scared 99% of the white people.
See that? That's what it is. You see what I mean? Those kind of remarks, they go on coupling with negative associations.
The guy was 8
this
feet
is great.
tall.
And Iowa set the tone for the nation. This is the greatest country in the world, man. So be glad that you consider it, because there used to be a place, if you speak in expectancy Deutsch, you know what I mean? You belong my English, and they come in and do it, So you got to be able to deal with it,
You're
man.
talking about Nazi Germany, my friend.
Yes.
And,
don't forget it.
We all know how that ended.
And you don't forget it.
We all know how that ended.
Those suffer from amnesia. You know, that's when you have a short-sighted memory.
Right.
Remember where we come from, the Doughboys, over there. You know, we're going to solve the problem over there.
Right.
We ain't coming back. The Doughboys, the America, man.
And then a few years later, we were back.
Yeah, and remember Pearl Harbor, baby.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't forget it. You know what I mean? So we can overcome it and we can adjust, but don't forget.
No,
exactly. You know what I mean? Yes, don't forget. You know what I mean?
I'll agree with you.
This is a great country, man.
Where'd you get that jacket?
Yeah.
Well, you know, a guy named Tony Alamo made this jacket. He made me too. You know, and it was really outstanding because it brings the spirit of America. You got Iwo Jima, where the Marines made their finest hour in the Pacific. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, the raising of the flag there.
Yeah.
Iwo Jima, Mount Rushmore.
E pluribus unum, one. Out of many comes one. You know, so this is what it's all about, you know what I mean? And then you got to hear Mount Rushmore with all the former presidents. You know what I mean?
Looks like John Lennon, though.
Yes,
His artwork's not
good
that
man. Lennon was a good man, personal friend. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? With the Beatles. With the Beatles.
It's
You know what I mean?
bam.
Yeah,
right
bring it in the
course.
Beatles, man. And so now, you know what I mean? What happened? We
look like
got
the
warp
Beatles.
guys that go out and knock people off.
They must giggle their asses off when you get that dry cleaned.
Oh, man, it's a mob. They charge a lot of money.
I bet they do, huh?
You know, but you got to have a lot of money to get charged.
Are the buttons weighing it down, though? It looks it looks like a very heavy jacket, Don.
Yeah, but this is the big
You're
one.
wearing flair like you work at Fridays.
Yes. Oh, America, man, the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, I love America.
Hey, what about Mike Tyson? He's got a documentary coming out, and you probably you're not treated very kindly in it. I mean,
It doesn't matter. You got to understand what the mentality has been such that what they call it, the stereotype image of blacks in America has been that they're lazy, lethargic, they can't rise to the occasion, they all lie, cheat, and steal, they're shiftless, worthless, and no account.
Come on.
That's the image. That's the image. You know what I mean?
Why is he reading your mind?
So what you got to do? You got to couple with negative association. If you would say how bad I am, they would say, "Oh man, that's the white guy saying that about the black guy." They always do that. So they got to do. They got to get a black guy to see it, so then they can propound it and propagate it, and then they can add their thoughts to the black guy. Say, it ain't me, it's what he said. You know,
Shit, he's on to us,
yeah, you know
son.
what I mean? He did it. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to deal with that. You know, all I can say about Mike Tyson that he was a great athlete, a great fighter. You know what I mean? They lost his way, but that's it. You got Muhammad Ali, every knee must bend, every head must bow, every tongue must confess thou art the greatest of all times, Muhammad Ali. Then you got George Foreman, now he's a Jolly Brown giant selling hamburgers and whatever now, multi-millionaire. You know what I mean? So you got
Little
all
jealousy
coming
there? Little jealousy?
No, man. Proud. Don't think. Look, I was a part of his life. You know what I mean? Julio Cesar Chavez, an icon in Mexico. Viva Mexico. Viva Mexico. Tito Trinidad in Puerto Rico. Viva Puerto Rico. Viva Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? So you got people from all shades, all places, coming from all different colors, races, creeds, and religions. So it's about America, the melting pot. New York is so great they named it twice. New York, New York. You know what I mean? It's fabulous, man. So let's go to Madison Square Garden. Let's get in shape. Let's go to the boardwalk in Atlantic City. I got a street in Atlantic City on the boardwalk, Don King Plaza.
Don King Plaza?
Yeah, right
They
on
got
there
that
next
over
to
there?
Donald Trump. Big Don Trump.
Really?
Yeah, the man with the look. You know, I love Big Don Trump. He's a great guy.
Yeah, you get along with Trump?
Oh, man, do I get along, man. We like the Corsican brothers. If you stick him, I hurt. Oh!
You guys must
You know what I mean? This is great, man.
You guys must just talk
what a
about
radio
how great
program.
America
Serious
is.
radio, boy. This is it. This makes me feel good. Opie, yeah. Yeah. This is fabulous, man. You know, where did you get the opportunity to have a radio program such as this? This is strong. It's great. It's always
Only in
spreading
America.
energy.
Only in America,
It is a
right?
terrific, goes all over the country, and even those who are etching in, hawking in, getting it from around the world. So you got everything here. You're speaking to the people, and the people are the most important. Don't ever forget
Living
that.
in America.
Yeah, give it to me. All right. Yes.
Yeah.
Boy, this is great. This is serious, baby. This is serious business. Anthony and Opie.
And he's
Opie.
got the game coming out. It's
Yeah.
just-
Oh, man,
you
the
got
game of
things
life.
going on.
For the Wii
Oh,
and the
man.
You got
Nintendo
things
DS.
what else is going on in the life of Don King right now?
Well, we got the game that's going to be playing to different extensive parts of letting little kids. A little girl did 7,160 jump ropes, broke the record at the game shop over there with Big Dan at the at the GameStop over here on the whatever avenue is on.
Damn,
but the
that's
idea, I mean, it's unbelievable. She got so engrossed into the game, then she started jumping in that guy doing the crisscross rope, doing all those different things, and she broke the record. She won a game. She won 7,160.
That's amazing.
Her name is Yasmin Fasu. I'm telling you, it's fabulous to what you can see that this game can get them. And so old guys that figure they were worthless now, nothing is done, you're looking bad. You get them into the game, next thing you know, they're young and reinvigorated. They feel good all over again, mentally, psychologically, and physically.
I
and
sit
every
on my
now
ass
and
and
then,
shoot things
they
when I play
rise to the
games.
occasion.
I'm
You got to get
terrible.
this game, man. This game is really where it's
I
at.
sit on my ass. I shoot things in games.
Yeah, but now you won't sit on your ass. You'll be shooting things
No,
other places.
you got. Oh,
Yes. How sweet it is. Yes, how sweet it is. You know what I mean? These are the qualities
I'm
that
waiting
the
for him
body
to
makes.
breathe.
Don,
Don,
it's going to be
breathe,
fabulous.
breathe, Don.
Oh,
breathe,
yes,
breathe,
yes,
breathe.
yes.
Oh, he's breathing.
Breathe.
Oh, this
Are
is
you
so
on
He
Red
breathes in
Bull?
between the words.
What's your drink in the morning? Red Bull?
No, you know what it is? It's just breathing the air of freedom, liberty, and justice, and hope,
You
and
can't get him out of it. He
and
goes
giving
right back
you
in it.
invigoration.
It's like
you know what I
Superman.
mean? You know what I mean? It's so great, and the women in this country are so beautiful. Black and white are like they're just like a breath of fresh air, the sweet morning dew, intoxicatingly beautiful.
Like walking down the
we
street.
don't know how blessed we are. You know, you can use the male chauvinistic approach. You can always think that you're intimidating and you're big and you doing this and that and other. But just think about that lady, that beautiful lady. You know what I
look
mean?
at some of those former Soviet bloc country girls. They're
Yeah.
not so good.
Oh man, I'm
Not
telling
so
you.
good.
Not so much.
Oh,
Not
beauty's
so
in the
much.
eyes
Not
of the
so
beholder.
much.
You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
you got it, man. When you got a good show like Anthony and Opie, we
I like
got
the
an
way you say
opportunity. We got we can inform the people. Communication is success. You must pass it on. You know what I mean? Communicate, relate, identify with.
So I do on Pal
But
Talk.
don't you ever get like upset at all with this country? Don't you ever just kind of
There's
feel?
nothing you saw that said, "Oh, I can't
Absolutely,
believe
you
what
get
they're
upset.
doing."
You get upset when you see, I think of Thomas Jefferson when he says, I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just. He said, and his justice can't sleep forever. When you find a guy like this, at the same time he got a slave concubine, at the same time he's a hypocrite. He said, the only way we could go to the Lord to say the way we're living was to say that we're hypocrites. And that's what, this is Thomas Jefferson, back there at the same time while they got Sally Hennings. You know what I mean? So, you know, they propagate one thing, they say one thing, they do another. Abraham Lincoln, he says, you know, a house divided can't stand. He said, then you should be what you want to be a slave. You know what I mean?
But
So
don't
just
you think this is a great
Anything
country, though?
past
it's
Lincoln?
a great country, but you know why? Because the wisdom of the founding fathers who put the thing together said it right out there, but we didn't live up to what we said. Was it the self-evident truth or the self-evident lie? It was the self-evident truth, but we lived the self-evident lie.
I think it was
You know?
the times.
Yeah, so now things is changing, man.
But sometimes
We're going back.
things do upset you, though.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? You got a problem. You know, if you love somebody and you care about them, you got to be able to understand their aches and pains, their problems, and try to straighten them out and try to make it better. You know what I mean? You don't go out and condemn. You want to kill. You want to annihilate because you got a problem. Solve the problem
You got an invite to the White House?
all the time. Just
Really?
like a revolving door.
All the time. Must be
all
nice.
the time, like a revolving. I was with George Walker Bush. I think a revolutionary president that prepared the road for an Obama to be there. You know what I mean? He had the most
He certainly
diversified
did.
cabinet. Yes, he did. I don't know about his fiscal policies because you and I can sit here on Sirius Radio, Anthony, and we can be able to discuss the world's problems, but we don't really know. All right, but what we do know is what we see. He had the most diversified cabinet of anybody in the history of any president
That's
in the history
true.
of this country. Yeah. And he took two shiftless, worthless, no account, lazy, lethargic, lying, cheating blacks and put them in the security of our nation. So he was either touched by God or he was insane. One way or the other. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So we had like this, so now he had Colin Powell security and he had Condoleezza Rice. I mean, so then from that you got, you know, from Rod Page with education. You know what I mean? And so Alfonso Jackson, HUD. This is George Walker Bush. That's why everybody want to condemn him.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good man, a revolutionary, because he had the word inclusive. Inclusive, you know, and that began the turmoil that starts out that ends up now with Obama being in the White House.
Well,
Do you
that
think
is
Bush gets
true,
a
yeah.
bad rap? He gets a bad rap by because black people in general are not known to love George Bush, or at least not publicly.
You know why? Because the same circumvention that the whites was doing to the blacks when they were calumniating and just stereotyping, that's what they did to George Walker Bush. George Walker Bush's PR machine was absolutely nil. You know what I mean? One of the best PR men in the history of mankind was Joseph Goebbels. He's a guy that could make a person that lived next door to each other all their life when he gets
Rat
through
'em out.
And then,
Oh, yeah.
And when the Gestapo knocked on their door, they didn't have nobody to holler outrage to. You know what I mean?
Well,
so you know what I mean?
Bush
So George is a good man.
You
George
could
Walker
holler, but
Bush,
not for
man.
long.
You know what I mean? But you got to understand something, man. George Walker Bush loved America, and so he proved it. But he did not espouse it. He didn't do right what the rabbi told me. Whenever you do something good, and put it out there. No matter what they say about you trying to be more popular, you want to do this. He said, let the other person answer you that don't agree with you. Then who's the recipient that you're giving the gift to? They're the beneficiary. He said, but stay out there and let them all know. So you got to be out there and you got to work. That's why you do such a wonderful job. You are a great antagonist. You are foil. You make people bring it out. You know what I mean? Because you agitate them. You keep pushing them. And then when they come out with it, you say, yes, now you know the problem can be discussed because the medicinal qualities of the air is what's going to make the change. You can't hide them under the rug and say you're going to change it. You know what I mean?
How Don goes from talking about Goebbels to a rabbi in one sentence.
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
But it makes sense.
The guy's got the talent, man. No matter whether he's bad, good, or indifferent, the man was a PR man personified.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he did what he did. He had to convince the people of their will. Convince a man against his will, he'll be of the same opinion still. If you can convince me to do something that is wrong, and I think wrong is right, you done a hell of a job. You know what I mean? So he did it by all the different things that we now quantify and qualify as seductive relations, this one and that one. Yeah. He was doing it back then, 29 and 30, to change a nation and then almost change the whole world using signs, flags.
Yeah.
Making up all kind of statements and things, you know what I mean? So this is what you got to look at. And then what did you get out of it? The Holocaust.
When is the last?
I've been there to Dachau, Mauthausen, Auschwitz. I done been to all of them. I go out there and see man's inhumanity to man.
You like educating yourself with travel and history.
Absolutely.
And
you know
like
what?
That.
It means so much, Anthony. Because you open your eyes in the darkness, take away the veil.
You can just say you're a
see.
fan of the era, and things like that.
Yes, love the people, man.
That's
the people are so important.
Yep.
Oh, what a wonderful host you are.
Glad you agree with something like that because it is very important to remember history lest you repeat it.
Yes, that's right. You know what I mean? Know why you're coming and why you're going. You're doing it, man. This is serious radio with Anthony and Opie. This is what you're talking about.
Anthony
Jim Norton.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, this is great. I'm so excited.
You're a very charismatic, powerful speaker. You know that. Who's the last person, and this is an honest question, who's the last person that kind of just had you sitting there listening quietly?
Rich Voss.
I don't mean that in a bad way, but like you pretty much you look at When We Were Kings, you're talking to Ali and James Brown, and they're both listening to you, which is a pretty to hold court in front of those guys is fucking fairly impressive.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you, Simon Wiesenthal. Simon Wiesenthal told me that one person can make a difference. When they had him here for the HBO special that he was doing, the documentary, I had opportunity to have dinner with him. And he said how when he was a Nazi hunter, and he said that even his wife became questioning to him. She was frustrated. 30 years, what are you doing? He said, if God gave him the vision to be able to know that a Nazi killer was going to die in 30 days, he would have to prosecute him and convict him in 15 days because he couldn't have let him go to the grave as a natural death without the world knowing this man is a killer, this man did this, and this. He said you can make a difference, you have to make the charge, you have to make the commitment, and you can make it. So Simon Wiesenthal, he was just a great man, he survived the Holocaust, he survived, and he kept fighting and fighting for a better life, for the people, never again. So you got to understand that we have to do the same thing.
He certainly was tenacious.
Yes, and work at it. Working together works, man. Black and white alike, making this country what it can be. Rise up to meet his challenge. Fulfill his prophecy. Yes.
You're inspiring.
One
Don
nation
King.
under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all.
We need some
And we get out there, all in America, then we got to go out and get our game so we can play. That is it, man.
It's amazing.
Don't ever forget it.
It's like
it's a grand old flag, baby.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy. Yes, I went over there to London town to ride that pony. You know what I mean?
Were you always just patriotic? Or everyone knows you went to jail, you came out, you became a promoter, you made a lot of money. Was it when you got out and you thought like, all right, I was in prison for 4 years, almost 4 years, and then you become this success? Is that what
in prison is what I do? I don't recommend prison to anyone, but I can tell you this: that I made the time serve me rather than to serve the time. That opened my eyes to find out that it ain't all me and I; it is we and us. me, we together. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. And one man needs the other. You know. In Matthew 7:12 it says, "Do unto others as you would have others to do unto you." You know what I mean? Then it also says, "Knocking, the door shall be open; seeking, you shall find; asking, you shall be given." You know, you got to be able to utilize those things and make them happen. So what it did, it opened my eyes. You know what I mean? That the world wasn't centered around me and I; it was around we and us. You know what I mean? And so we are our brother's keeper, whether we want to be or not. You know what I mean? So what affects one affects all. I think Martin Luther King put it together when he said we are caught in a network, a mutual network of mutuality. I think whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. He said any injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So you got to be able to deal with that. And once you can resolve and come to your senses that you know that everybody is there and everybody deserves an opportunity and everybody needs to respect the dignity of human worth, then you got something that you can work on. And so I come out of the prison, you know what I mean? But I was liberated in my mind. We got so many people out here in the free world that are mentally incarcerated and they don't want a parole. Everybody in jail was trying to break out or find some way to get out. You know what I mean? These people don't want no parole.
You know what's odd? You seem like a very spiritual guy, and you have a knowledge of religion and the Bible and stuff. But you have this reputation of the almighty dollar. It seems like kind of a
yes.
clash
You know what?
in
Again, that is again because Anthony, this is what they do to you. You must realize that what they say with the reputation. That is why Shakespeare says, you say, take my purse, it is trash. It is the slave of me today, the slave of you tomorrow. But my reputation, that costs you nothing. It devastates me. They ruin my reputation. So what they do when they can't beat you no other way, they start to vilifying you, castigating you, you know what I mean? Saying all type of things. And so this is what they do when they find a person that I can stand. If I was all the things that they said I was, then you got to say you need new Interpol, you need a new IRS, you need a new CIA, you need a new police department, a sheriff department, because I couldn't be sitting here talking to one of the greatest hosts in Sirius Radio, Anthony, and dealing with it if I was doing all the things that I'm supposed to be doing that is wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they going to put that reputation when they can't beat you another way. They done tried to send me to jail. They done indicted me 4 times. You know, my government, the one that I love, but it's the ones who are running it was given a problem. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They seized the power, and in that power, Lord Acton said power tends to corrupt. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. People get in powerful positions, you know what I mean? They use their own vanity and selfish invested interest rather than the interest of the people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
yes, yeah,
you find those things. So you're going to have people that will castigate me, vilify me. So be it. You let them come, you know what I mean? But when you got God on your side, you know what I mean? Faith will see you through. If you got faith, cast your bread upon the water, you get back cash. But if you don't have faith, you get back soggy bread. You know what I mean? So you got to have faith, man. Wow. You know what I mean? So I deal with faith and just keep on going, man.
Balancing act.
Yeah, so they going out there and talk about Don King is doing a rob. How you going to rob a man and they ain't got nothing? I mean, if you just take an object dispassionately, you get a guy suffering from poverty, despair, hopelessness, and helplessness. You reach out, you get him, and he uses physical powers to build him into something that he would not have been.
Right.
You go out like John the Baptist, the voice crying in the wilderness, saying about how great he is and what he is. You're not worthy of tying his shoelace. You make him rich, and then they say you robbed him. I mean, it's the craziest thing you ever seen. If you rob him, he didn't even have shoes to put on. You know what I mean? But these are the things to do, but people just grab this because they hear it. And it sounds good, so we go with it. You know what I mean? Don't do no thinking.
Gotcha.
Do no thinking.
Lennox Lewis sued you for $385 million. Oof. Which is a lot. It's a big lawsuit. That's got to be horrifying.
It's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket because they're only playing the games of semantics. He had a good lawyer named Judd Bernstein who could go out for the big things. Always go for something big, and then if something trickle down, you still have something left. You know what I mean? But the idea of it is they sue, that's the greatness of America, that you have a right to protest, to demonstrate for your grievances, the First Amendment, and then what you have a right to sue, if you think you've been wrong. So now they start making
if that don't work, there's the Second Amendment.
So the right to bear arms. You know what I mean? So, this is what they do, you know what I mean? So, hey, everybody wants to sue, I used to sit on the stoop, that's my car. Then I would punch my friend because I said it first. You can't say that I had that thing there. Well, now we can own those cars. We can deal with that in America, only in America. So you got an opportunity here, man, to be what you want to be in the greatest country in the world, but be able to do it. Yes, this is a great country. Yes.
That is true, Don King. You
a new country conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Yes.
I agree with you.
One nation, indivisible, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, what a country.
I believe
Yes.
every word he says.
Yes.
Yes. It makes it feel so good. And when you hear that music, it inspires your heart and motivates you. And you think about just how close we come to disaster with the Axis powers. You know what I mean? When we had the great Franklin Delano Roosevelt at the helm. You know, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. You know what I mean? So we have to be able to deal with it. You know what I mean? An infamous attack on us on December 7,
FDR
1941.
was great, but you gotta love what old Hank Truman did.
Oh, yes, he was good, too.
It's like, let's put an end to this now.
Drop another one.
There it is. There it is. Now, so you got to always remember that when you do that, somebody gonna be hurt. Somebody ain't gonna forget it. You know what I mean? So, but you do what you have to do, what is right, and you keep on marching.
Spider-Man's uncle said, "With great power comes great responsibility."
Absolutely. You know what I mean?
I have quotes, sir.
And
Not as good as yours.
accountability
That's
too.
right.
Accountability
Yes,
and a responsibility.
Another great man once said, "So what? She has a dick. She's still a pretty girl." That great man was Jim Norton.
Jim Norton.
Yes.
That man was Jim Norton.
Who is your favorite? Who is your favorite person ever? Do you have a favorite person?
I have a favorite person. When he sits side, looks low, and keeps his eye on the sparrow. You know what I mean? But the idea of it is what you're saying is so true, because what you're just saying, while we say it in jest, you know what I mean? Who
said Mia Farrow.
No, who is your favorite person?
You got to realize that you got to give another person a chance. You know what I mean? That good woman. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's because she's bisexual. You know what I mean? Does that mean that she's supposed to be condemned? No. You know what I mean? No. All right. So that's what you say.
She should be paid.
Open your eyes and see. Open your mind and open your heart. You know what I mean? He's unfortunate or she's fortunate. Who knows?
Who's your favorite person?
Some tells me
My
Don's favorite
person
person is the guy that stares back at him as he brushes his teeth in the morning.
No, that's Anthony. I'm surprised.
That's vanity. And I know you would be guilty of that.
You can't get with vanity.
You're not guilty
You
of that.
know what I mean?
Don.
You got to deal with what Shakespeare said about adversity. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which ugly and venomous like the toad, yet wears a precious jewel in there. You find a jewel in adversity. You know, Mark Anthony.
Muhammad Ali, then?
Yeah, Muhammad Ali was
Favorite
great. He was a
person?
great fighter. He was a great
Your
person,
favorite
great
person?
fighter.
Who's your favorite person?
My favorite person is.
I want the answer to Jimmy's question.
Yeah, I'm curious as to who do you like? Who do you like? Kind of like if you like idolize, or who did you?
Oh, that kind of way you're talking about, because I like all the people. So, but if the one who stands out as a prophet of peace, it would be somebody like Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King, and he's like prophet Isaiah. You know, prophet Isaiah. Prophet Isaiah says, "Those who renew their hope in the Lord can soar on wings like eagles. They can run and not be weary. They can walk and not be faint." So you got to understand. So these are the things you got to be able to deal with. And when you find people that are prophesying peace and understanding, love, togetherness, and this is what you want to do. And this is what you do. You bring out the part where you make people get upset, and then you make them come back and be good. But if you didn't talk about it, you could never get it exposed to the medicinal qualities of the air to cure it. Debate and discussion. That's what makes democracy so fantastic. You got a right to talk about it.
Do you think that peaceful demonstrating, like Martin Luther King, is a thing of the past? Like that, it doesn't happen
Never.
anymore.
It would always be there, because that's what the First Amendment, the right to protest and demonstrate, the right to freedom of speech. You're always going to have a difference of opinion. You're going to always have two different ways to do it, some by selfish interest, some by the betterment of the country's interest. All right, so I'm a Republican. I'm not a Democrat nor a Republican. I'm for whoever's good for America. And I go from one party to the other because John F. Kennedy told me that, sometimes party loyalty asks too much. You must be able to deal with what is real and practical and what's appropriate. And when you do that, you got to do what's for the betterment of all the people. You know what I mean? The lumpen proletariat to the elitists.
You're not going to follow the entire party line.
Some of them do.
Puppet.
Some of them have to do it, even though they know it'd be wrong. That's right. And so we have a lot of puppets, and we have a lot of puppeteers.
Pick and choose. When I go to a Chinese restaurant, I'm not just one column.
There you go.
I go one. I like a little General Chow's, and then I want some fried rice.
Anthony,
Two
that's
different
it,
sides
baby.
of the menu, my friend.
And you got such a great name. You know what I mean? Yay, too, Brutus. You know what I mean? You remember Mark Anthony when they were going to put the dag in you too, Brutus? You too, I can't believe this. You know what I mean? But he also had a good side. Now when he rode Cleopatra down the Nile, he says age cannot wither her, nor custom still or infinite variety.
See?
She takes perfection. imperfection that makes perfection.
See that?
Brutus?
Yeah.
This guy understands me.
This guy, he's great.
A great
Man, I'm
man
a lot
once,
like Mark Anthony. You're right.
Yes, you are. You got great talent.
Hey,
a great man once said, "I ruin things."
yeah.
That would be
That's right.
Steve Carlisi.
Steve Carlisi. You know anything on Steve?
Yes.
No, I don't know
The
too
great
much about
philosopher
Steve.
Steve Carlisi.
Now, what was
Great
his book?
American.
Middleweight
I
fighter.
ruined things. It was a self-deprecating thing. He was known as the Great Bear, and he was a great radio producer.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If he ruined things, at least he let us know what we have to build. We have to refurbish, redecorate, whatever to do. So at least he give
was
us
honest.
a basis that you can't beat that. The veracity of Steve was great. You know what I mean?
The veracity of Steve.
Hey, Mad Dog is outside the studio.
Oh, Mad Dog. I
You know
love
Mad Dog?
I love Mad
Who's
Dog.
Mad Dog Russo?
We should have Mad Dog come in at least to
Mad
say hi to Don
Dog,
King.
Mad Dog. I was with him yesterday.
Oh, you know
Really?
the Mad
Yeah,
Dog?
Mad Dog. I didn't get to the show, but we met in the elevator.
Mad
Well,
Dog Russo.
he probably wanted you on his show there, Don.
Yeah, I know. He told me he did.
I'm talking about sports.
I love Mad Dog. I think he's great.
There he is.
Mad Dog, Mad Dog. I love you, man. Love you. Yeah. This is great. This is great. Hey, there's a Mad Dog is here. He's in the house.
Hey, baby.
And he's going to play the Don King boxing game because it's a game of life.
Boxing's for the sport, Don?
Yeah. Mad
Get this guy
Dog.
a chair.
Mad Dog.
It's boxing style. Hello. How are you, buddy?
What's up, bro?
Don, how are you?
I'm doing great, Mad Dog, and I'm just so delighted that you entered into the fray. Opie and Anthony, they're doing such a marvelous job on
Well,
Sirius
not really.
Radio.
You're
but
perhaps
now
talking
the
the whole
pro. Yes, it's here, man. This is what it's all about. And my game is the game of life. Mad Dog, you got to tell them. You got to have it because it's an aphrodisiac
Right.
for those who are looking for something in the capacity of feeling good. And for the others, is get you physically fit so you can go out there and brave the hazards of the inclement weather and whatever the problems may be that beleaguer you that day. And it teaches you that you can overcome no matter what. Ain't nothing so dire and so bad
Got a
that you
game.
can't see it. You got to be able to
got-
fight
he's got
back.
style. Okay.
You know what I mean? So deal with it.
Yeah. No, he's literally got a game.
He's
Yeah,
promoting
that's
his
how-
video game.
Yeah,
we
oh,
think.
He's got a video
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah.
We think.
Boxing game,
boxing.
Yeah,
but it's
boxing game.
actual.
But it's a
on
game
the
of
weed
life.
stuff, and you
Don
got
Lee.
you got exercise and everything, and
Yes.
then work your fighter up. But you
Yeah.
actually have to
So you're-
exercise.
I got
That's so good, Anthony. It's
Oh,
telling
my God.
you can be in Madison Square Garden. You got real live venues. You got video on demand. Then you got venue on demand. You can go to any venue you want. You can fight any fighter that you
Can
want
I
to
be
fight.
the Thriller in
You know,
Manila?
Or get it, baby. What's it say? What's that? Ferdinand Marcos and Imelda. I made
yeah.
the New York Times
Philippines.
dancing with her. With all the shoes that she had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Ferdinand Marcos. You know what I mean? He took me all around to Bataan, Corregidor, Okinawa, Iwo Jima. You know what I mean? When I went over there to the Philippines,
Okinawa weather.
yes, that was great, man, to show what our American troops can do.
Yeah.
Support our troops. Support our troops. I love you,
Absolutely.
America.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right,
And
let's-
I'm 101st Airborne, screaming
Well,
airborne.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes. This is really something, man.
Let's get Chris Russo involved here. He's attempting to ask a question.
None of us have
we have
been
to-
successful asking the question.
We
so.
have to do something to resurrect the sport. Because
Yes, we do.
nobody cares anymore.
You got to get heroes. He said a very salient and profound statement. We're in search of. You remember that song, the Coasters saying, searching every which way?
Yeah.
That's what we got to do now. We're searching for somebody, what Chris just said, to bring back and bring redemption. You know what I mean? Back to the sport.
former glory.
Yeah, the pride and glory is what really makes everything happen. You don't have to trade one in for the other. You get the money and the pride and glory. But now we're looking for what channel you're going to be on, what you're going to do, how much money I'm going to get. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But don't put that in before the people. We the people. That's why we say in our Constitution, we the people. You know what I mean? Got to promote the general welfare, establish, prosperity.
There's a lot of Bible, too.
And
You
I'm
gotta love
boxing.
'em. You gotta love them.
And boxing's in there too.
We need
Yes.
some
Boxing, the Bible,
fighters.
and
We
We
need
the people
we
need
need
fighters.
a Joe Louis. We
Yes.
need Jack Jackson.
There you go.
We need some
Muhammad
fighters.
Ali or Mike Tyson or George Foreman.
Good old
We need
George,
somebody.
right.
Don't you
know what
think
I mean?
MMA is kind of taking
Yes.
like
MMA.
put boxing in the back seat?
No, it isn't. It's just another part in the extension. MMA is really great. MMA is the original. It was the knockdown, drag out. You do 80 rounds, 60 rounds, 50 rounds. It brought the Marcus of Queensberry into the fray to put some civility to it and to put some rules and regulations. Anytime of the year you can hit a guy, many times you want to hit him, you get tired, you can kick him. You know, you can kick him. You get that, you butt him in the head. You know what I mean? Whatever you do by any means necessary, you got to go out there to win. Now, when boxing is artistic, you know what I mean? You got to be able to hit and not get hit. You got to be able to use.
You got 4
your
years
skills,
for MMA,
you know what I mean?
way back in the day.
Yeah, so MMA is a regular thing. Every day on the street is the MMA. You know what I mean? And I love MMA. I'm going ready to go out there and go back and start helping them and show them where it come from, the Asian continent, and from martial arts and things out of Japan, the jiu-jitsu and the other one with the ding like in China. So you got it all, man. But it's all a part of entertaining the people. We're in a crisis. We need relief. You know, you got to entertain people, because if they start really thinking about how dire things are, then they become distressed and then they make erroneous decisions.
I agree with you.
All right, he's breathing.
I heard
That's
that.
our chance.
Okay.
Wow, that's good.
Who's a better fighter than Fedor Emelianenko in the world, do you think?
Yeah.
The one, is that the Russian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Russian, he has no personality, but he can fight. And he's not not a real big guy.
Right.
But when he hits you with a power punch, you know what I mean, that it really takes him out. And I think that he needs promotion. You know what I mean? He needs a voice created in the waters, just because I may have to help him. Donald Trump called me up about this guy. You know, he's with Affliction, and they got this guy there, and but they don't know what to do with him. So he told him, he said, you better get Big Don, talking about me. You know what I mean? But I am thinking about doing something else differently, you know, but to get into the MMA, but this guy do need help. They sent me a resume on him in the bio, you know what I mean? And so he's been that's a good example of the difference between an American and the Russian there. He's dry, he's there, he's a matter of fact, you know, it's no humor.
Yeah.
You know, hey, man, I'm going to bring you 15 girls. No. You know what I mean? You know, so anything.
It
I
seems
think I
like
you can't. You know what I mean?
But Chris is right, though. The boxing needs...
It needs heroes.
A hero. It needs the big
heroes.
guy. The big. I mean, when Tyson was fighting in that heyday, you could not.
Absolutely.
Everyone was getting pay-per-view to see him just
Yes.
go out there for 30 seconds and kick someone's ass.
And let's
in.
not forget, Tyson started on NBC. You got to put some of these fights on free TV.
Yeah, free TV.
That's exactly right. We lost it. We lost it.
Don doesn't like that
ABC
free
Wide
thing.
World of Sport. No.
Yeah.
ABC Wide World of Sports, CBS Sports, and NBC.
You're right.
You know what I mean? You got to have, that was a breeding ground. They wouldn't let them people get a chance to see and make the marriage
Saturday
between
night
the public.
fights.
Get
You
them
know what I
hooked,
mean?
right, Don?
And you
Get
get the
'em hooked.
people. Give it to the people.
free.
They stop doing that.
Give it to them free, and then you start charging
That-
slowly and
they
tell their
become
friends
heroes.
to come.
That's what makes heroes. Nobody don't know you. You could be the greatest star in the world, but nobody know it but you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we got to let the world know. That's why I love Mad Dog.
And that's what,
See, this is what the
Don
difference
always
is.
did.
Give it to the people, man.
Don would always be out there up front promoting.
You got to
showing these
understand.
people off, showing these big gladiators off.
Absolutely. Give it up close and personal. I started that with Rune Ardich. You know what I mean? Working out where you let the people know about their family, their background, what happened. I got into boxing not here. I had to go to Africa in the wilds of the jungle, or the dark continent, as they would call it.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because you couldn't get here because segregation and racism prevented me from doing it. I had the two greatest athletes of the time, George Foreman and Ali, both signed no money, but a big promise. Because everybody's big in promises in America. You know what I mean? So I found that out, so I started promising too. All right? Now you got to fulfill the promise. But I had to go all around the world and then end up in Kinshasa, Zaire to get there to be able to put on the biggest event, the Rumble in the Jungle. You know, and then the same thing with the Thriller in Manila. You know what I mean? So you got to be able to deal with that, Joe. You got to understand our faults as well as our good things. But we let the faults take the front ground.
But you know what is even more amazing, Don? That you are the only one that could keep Chris Mad Dog Russo from saying a word.
Hey, he's been good.
Mad Dog.
Jesus Christ.
You know what, though, Anthony? You know, Chris is a genius because he knows when to listen. Now, when he do talk, he's going to have something to say.
But I guess we're all geniuses today.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So you got to understand. It's the we game, man. That's what I like about we game. And you are a provocateur. You know just what to do. I've never met no guy on the radio or a host like yourself that can really, you are, indubitably, without a question of a doubt.
Thank you,
You know
sir.
what I mean? And you bring it out. You evoke this type of discussion and debate. I'm very proud of you.
Tried. Thank you, Mr.
I'm
King.
very proud of you.
Are you proud
That's
of Don,
fantastic.
Anthony?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
Don's
Ed's
done
proud
a
of you
great
as
job.
well, sure.
What is the
Let's
name
learn
of the
from you,
game?
Don.
What is the name of the game?
The game is Don King Boxing, but it's really Don King, giving you life. You know what I mean? Because it's your life. It ain't about Don King. You know, you just playing. You get
Right.
You can't play this game.
The game is merely a metaphor.
Yeah, that's right. You can't play it unless you work at it.
Right?
You
A
got
little
to be able
more
to
passion in your pocket.
exercise. You got to punch.
Yes.
It ain't gonna work by itself. You can't push buttons and get it. You got to actually
No.
punch and exercise, jump rope. You got to do the same thing the fighters is doing, and so therefore it gives you physical fitness while you're having fun.
I
You have
know
to fight
because
and recognize.
It's funny
Wants
because
to
I
exercise.
drive home just like Super Mario Kart.
Yeah.
It's it's a metaphor for an actual thing in my life.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And you
Steering
know
through
what?
the dangers, just trying to get
Yes,
home. Home is
just trying to
safe.
get home, and home.
And America
what
is home.
What?
It's just life.
America's the greatest country in the
Yes.
world, and a privilege for you to be able to drive home without somebody standing up. Your papers are not in order.
Well, that happened yesterday.
You know what I mean? And give you a chance to be able to do that. This is a great country, and you're hearing it right here on Sirius Radio
Yeah.
with Anthony
And
and
with
Opie.
the- yeah.
And now we
All
have
right.
Mad Dog.
well,
Chris
yes.
Mad
Yes.
Dog is on the
Chris.
air.
He used to have mine all the time in FAN, Mr. King, so
Yeah.
he knows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's got pepper. He's got personality. That's
He
what you like.
certainly
a little
does.
bit. A little bit.
What
I
about
love that
what
king.
about
It's great.
George Foreman complaining that the ropes were too big or too loose?
Too loose?
in Zaire. Did he ever stop complaining about that, or was it?
Well, you know he did because it took him. He had to go on to what they call. What do you call it?
Retirement?
Yeah, no. You know, he had to.
Diet.
He went out. He went on. It was a sabbatical or whatever it is. Go where you stay away for a while. You know, he had to regain his thoughts. George Foreman is one of the greatest guys in the world. I love George Foreman. George Foreman did something that I don't recommend everybody would do, but he signed 7 blank sheets of paper with me back in 1973, and then fulfilled the prophecy with his lawyer Steve Baumser out of the San Francisco. We put together that fight with him and Ali. George Foreman got caught up in his own self-aggrandizement for that moment, and he didn't think he could be beat, which is most athletes think the same way. But what happened is it stunned him. But now, when he came back with his new personality, he found God. He understood what it meant to be able to be humble.
It is like
You
two
know?
different people when you look at old George
I can
Foreman
tell you
and
that
George
it's two
Foreman
different
today.
people.
It's two different people.
And now he's the Jolly Brown Giant. He's got a grill that takes the fat away. He cooks hamburgers, you know, like a whoopie.
I got my
with
show
Smiling
with
Jack.
George and George
Yes.
and George.
All of his sons is named
his
George.
son's George.
Yeah, all of them, you know what I mean?
He was
And-
up here one day, shake that hand of his. Remember the size of the
Yeah,
hand? That's a big
he's
hand.
big.
That
I
guy,
love
that
George.
hand.
Big hand,
You
yeah.
imagine
And-
getting hit with that hand.
Now George is worth, $300 million.
Yeah.
I mean, this is America, man. A poor boy from Texas. You know what I mean? Marshall, Texas, starving to death. You know what I mean? Big family, nothing to eat. They had a little farm out there. You know, and then we got him in the
Ironic, then
crowds
he
there.
makes something that cooks food and he gets rich off of it.
Yes, I'm telling you, man, it's ironic.
Trying to point out the irony.
The guy did it, so now he helped a lot of people.
Yeah, he
But
did.
so I love George, and George is a great guy, and I'm so happy for George. I'm just so proud of him.
Very charitable, too.
Yes, philanthropic,
Good
man.
guy. Yes.
Oh, he's
absolutely.
good. This
Don
is so, makes me feel
Well,
good.
All right. Keep,
You can fight George in the
Don?
game. Get the game, man. Get the game. It's an aphrodisiac. It goes everywhere. It does everything.
Now you can feel you wrapping it up.
Boxing. Don King Boxing.
Yeah, we got to get you out of here, Don. I'm hearing you got to go. They're saying you got to go, Don.
Fantastic,
Where you
Don.
off to next, Don?
I don't know. I just follow them wherever they lead me. I'm so happy to see Mad Dog, but I got to go on Mad Dog show with Mad Dog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Mad Dog is bad. That's what you mean good in the vernacular
Oh,
of the
yeah.
ghetto. Yeah, he's good. Anthony, you know what I mean? You sure how to do it, boy.
Your guy's getting up and everything.
I tried, Don.
Opie,
They're,
baby.
they're trying to drag you out of here.
Oh, man.
that
What's,
sucks.
You know,
We
what's
could've
in the
done this for
name?
another
You know what I
hour.
mean?
You have to move on and inspire elsewhere,
Yeah.
Mr. King.
Oh, the game. You
The
must get the
game,
game.
Don King
You can get it
Boxing.
on DS2, for the little kids was $20,
Right.
$19.99, $39.99 is what the game costs, but that's chump change for what you're going to do for yourself.
A
You know
small
what I mean?
price
Do yourself
to pay
a,
for
do
physical
yourself
fitness,
a favor.
aphrodisiac,
Oh.
entertainment.
Oh, Anthony, keep
getting it
preaching.
all. You're getting it
God.
all.
Ooh, those are hallowed words. Hallowed words. Did you hear what Anthony said? Opie. Ooh. Yes. This is what I say. This is a success. This is victory.
Absolutely,
Victory.
Don.
Hear my cry.
Absolutely.
VICT.
Only in America.
Oh,
Only
right.
in America.
Greatest
Only in America.
nation in the world, and don't you ever forget it.
Don King, thanks so much for
God bless,
coming in.
guys.
You want them to chant your name as you leave, Don?
Thanks, guys. Don
Whatever they do, it
Don
makes me
King.
feel good.
Don King.
Good.
Don
Hey,
King. Don King. Don King. Don King.
America, the greatest nation in the world. Mad Dog Chris, Anthony,
Don King
Opie,
Boxing.
everybody. And the great
Available for
star
DS.
cast here. Here we go.
Boxing,
The
Don
great
Chump
star
Chain.
cast.
All right,
Get
yeah.
the game
Oh,
now.
boy, we still
Call
kicking
now,
him. All right, he's still talking.
call now. Hold it now.
Order now. Order soon. Order more.
night, guys.
Love you guys, man.
Oh my God, we're gonna go take a nap. We'll be back in a few. All right, are we back?
I surprised him with Dempsey.
We got a full house here. The Opie and Anthony Show. Big, huge crowd. We got Bill Burr. We got Ab Farrar, who hasn't said a word yet, basically. None of us said a word.
Couldn't.
Except for Anthony and Don
If
King.
I speak, I want to rhyme like
bonding.
Don.
I was bonding with Don
There
King.
were 7 microphones live, and none of us could get a word in except for Ed.
Gaping jaws. Just gaping jaws. Just like
We had a good
God.
laugh over the YouTube Brutus.
Oh, that
Oh,
was
He's
yeah.
quoting Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And then
You
Shakespeare
too.
said, "You too, Brutus," did he?
You
Did
too?
he say you too, Brutus?
He said, "You too."
Really, Brutus?
That too.
Really?
You too. You who, Brutus?
You who, Brutus?
Amazing.
Brutus. You who?
We got Mad Dog in the studio.
Hello, boys.
Yes.
I told-
Russo.
How you doing today?
Russo.
We were using you to help us out. We thought you would get
I
a word
could
in
get
with
something
Don.
out of him, but what do you know, you got to let him talk. He's got
Just
this
gotta
video
let him
thing. He's
go.
a salesman. That's what he wants to do
You
right now.
gotta just let him go.
Let him babble. I mean, you're not going to. Don't bring up the old fighters who he's bilked out of millions and millions of dollars.
Jimmy did.
Yeah, we tried.
I did.
And he spun it into the game.
This is Jimmy
They're
Johnson.
all
What are we
game.
talking about?
Is there one old boxer that likes him, you think?
I'd have to go back and look, but he had a lot of issues with it. Now, it wasn't his fault with Tyson. I'm not going to give him grief there. But the real boxing guy, the Customatos, the Jimmy Jacobs,
Yeah.
they don't take King. King is he's a self-promoter,
Yeah.
but he's very good at getting the word out. So you got to give him credit for that.
A lot
Only
of
in
words.
America, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He's
The
good at it.
It's
But
the
once he gets you-
distraction.
but once he
It's
gets you-
the distraction as he's
Yes,
taking
it's a
your money out of your back
distraction.
pocket.
He took the 2 biggest fighters in the country and went to a dictator in Africa and made it happen. You gotta
Dictator,
You
yeah.
gotta love that.
No, that's a good point. He did take those
What
two
did they get?
guys.
$5 million each?
Yep.
Which in the 70s? That's,
He got the names both on a
that's a lot of
contract.
money
and had no place to
anytime,
put
but-
them.
Yeah. What he said, he did something I wouldn't recommend. He signed blank pieces of paper
Yeah.
with me.
yeah.
Yeah, even he said he wouldn't recommend that.
With me.
You like that When We Were Kings?
I never have seen that. The
Oh,
Zaire
I
thing.
didn't see that one
Sports
either.
talk show
I
host.
know. I cannot.
Freaking watch
I-
it.
It's the
I
best
watch
documentary ever.
What's
I
wrong with you?
understand.
Come
I
on,
understand.
let's go.
I-
Busy.
What
Doing
was
the show.
What was the chant again? The
Ali Boumaier.
Ali
Ale, you guys,
Kill him, Ali.
now, you guys don't know anything about the old time boxers. Gene Tunney and Dem. Tell me about the 27 long count in Chicago.
Oh,
Go
he's
ahead.
dead.
I know
long
the old
count.
time stuff. I don't know the current stuff.
Yeah,
that
what was
well.
that? I remember. I remember hearing about that. I don't remember
What's
it.
the long count?
The long count.
Oh, the long count's a
Yeah,
famous
yeah.
fight in Chicago where Dempsey fought Tony, 105,000 in Soldier, 130,000 in Soldier Field.
Wow.
1927, and Tony, who had beaten Dempsey the year before in Philadelphia to get the title, they've had the rematch. Dempsey's a little past his prime. He was third too. Knocked him down in the middle rounds. He's either the 7th or the 9th round. Knocked him down, and he did not go to his corner. And then that was one of the first, in the old days, you didn't have to go to your corner. As soon as the guy gets up, you knock him down again. Sure. But they had changed the rules where you had to go to the corner. Dempsey did not go to his corner, and it took him 5 seconds to get there, and the ref did not start the count. And Dempsey went to the corner, and Tunney got up at 9, and it was a 14-second count.
Yeah.
Did he? Now, was that
It's a famous fight.
Was that a racial thing? You think,
No,
or did he
God,
actually
no.
just screw it up?
The ref should have started the count right away. No, Tunney always said that he would have been able to get up long before the count of 9, but he knew that the count was, so he took the extra 4 or 5 seconds
lay there.
to stand
Hadn't
the ground.
started.
Yeah, that could happen.
So,
sure.
I mean, and Tunney was a very underrated, cerebral, smart son of a gun fighter. Very, very good. Who had studied Dempsey for years. Remember, Tunney was fought in World War One, so Tunney was in a situation where he studied Dempsey. Because Dempsey was from 1918 to 1927. It was Jack Dempsey, but Dempsey fought one fight a year. So, I mean, he was sort of he was way past his prime, but Tunney would go to the fight, watch a Dempsey fight and take notes down. Very smart. So he had a real big playbook on Dempsey. Dempsey didn't know who Tunney was, and so he sort of outcrafted him. And that's kind of how he did it
ahead of
twice.
his time doing stuff like that,
Right.
because
I mean, it's-
most people back then would just get in there and
Exactly.
brawl it out.
Especially with him.
Why I
Yeah.
oughta.
Especially with Dempsey.
Yeah, why I oughta.
He's taking notes on his BlackBerry.
He's ahead of his time.
Tony lived in Stamford, Connecticut for years and years and years and took the train in to work in Manhattan, and his son was best friends with Teddy Kennedy. So Gene Tunney he's a legendary, he's not a very liked guy. See, Dempsey was a guy, everybody loved Dempsey. Sure. He was the people's champion, the Manasseh Mauler. Everybody he fought Jesse Carpentier over at the, in Jersey City in 1924. There was 150,000 people at that fight.
Wow.
It's amazing
150.
before
And
television.
He knocked him through the ropes to win the fight in the 7th round. Knocked him actually through the ropes.
You think
crazy
everyone,
fights?
You think everyone had a good seat at that fight?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, there were no big screens.
You know, he beat Big Jeff Willard. You know, he beat Jeff Willard into one. You've heard of that famous fight in July 4th in Columbus, Ohio. It was 120 degrees outdoors, 100,000 people.
Yeah.
That stuff's like that. It's boxing.
All right, here's a question about boxing. Jerry Quarry, greatest heavyweight ever?
No, Jimmy. Come on.
The best bleeder, Chuck Webner.
The bleeder was very good.
The Bayonne bleeder. What?
Did we like the Cinderella Man? Did you like that movie?
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
Anthony?
Cinderella
I
Man?
heard
That's the
mixed
Jimmy.
reviews.
That's Russell Crowe, Jimmy Braddock beating.
Right.
That's a great
That was
movie.
the movie they said they'd pay you to go see or something.
Oh, it's a good film.
No one
Yeah.
saw
Good
it
movie.
though, for some reason.
You did not see that. Okay.
No. Do you do the UFC?
I'll
I do
scream
not. We were
at.
just talking about it a minute ago.
Do you talk UFC
No,
on
I
your
do
show?
not.
Wow, really?
You guys get into it, don't you?
I think you'd be
We get 'em all
surprised
in
how many
here.
people are watching that. It's such an interesting. And it's not like look. At times, hardcore boxing fans don't love it because it's a little slow. They hold on in the ring. These UFC guys, man, it's a 3-round or 5-round championship fight. It's not an endless.
We have these animals
5-hour
in here,
affair.
and they're scary human beings.
They all got their ears are all
Wonderful
like,
athletes.
Chuck
Big-
Liddell.
That's why I think a lot of people aren't like real sports aficionados don't look at that as a sport.
I
'cause They're
don't.
just going in there kicking ass.
See, I don't.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
See, you
See.
would not get me to watch that. But
Right.
that
Really?
doesn't mean I'm ready. Who knows? See, I'm getting too old
becoming
here for this.
popular.
I'm getting too old.
but you know what it is?
I'm wrapped up in Federer and Nadal, for God's sake. I'm going to have to quit. Geez.
Get to fighting. When they put the gloves on, that's when the sport went in the shitter.
Yeah, bare-fisted.
No, but Mike, you should give it a chance because I kind of felt that way when I first saw it. When you first see it, it really is a little shocking. Like when you see someone just dropping elbows on somebody. But once you start to realize some of the strategies of what they're doing, and plus it's a great sport just because how boxing used to be where the best guys fought the best guys. That's the big thing about the UFC is it's kind of all under one umbrella.
They
so
get the guys in the ring.
the best dudes fight the best dudes. So
There's
The
two-
toughest guys. It's a tough man competition.
yeah,
Really.
there's
Yeah.
no. What was that? Who did the heck did Tyson fight when he first came out? Peter McNeely. They don't have like those.
no,
fights.
yeah.
Oh, remember Peter McNeely?
Wow, McNeely
Well,
from Boston.
he was Tyson was finished then at that point, but
Yeah.
he brought McNeely in. That was a disaster.
I was living in
Boxing's
Boston at that
McNeely.
time, and someone was like, he wasn't even the toughest guy from Brockton.
Yeah, he's fighting Tyson.
Yeah, well, Tyson was shot. That was when Tyson got out of jail, right? When he fought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, boxing is the big boxing. They've lost the big boxing fan, and people are not going to spend $59 to go watch a pay-per-view fight.
And that's one of the reasons
No,
they've lost
no.
him. I'm telling you, MMA. Because when
Go
you look at
free.
it, like, well, what makes boxing better than MMA or mixed martial arts in general? These guys are martial artists. They fight. They do all like what. Like, if you look at it, like, what makes boxing better, other than the fact that we were raised on boxing?
Right. See, I'm a tradition. You know me. I'm a traditional
Oh, of
sport.
course.
I'm a baseball, basketball, football.
Right.
Not much.
I'm a
Not
tra-
much hockey from this guy either.
But I get into it in the postseason.
a little bit.
I know he's a huge Islander fan. We were just talking about that before.
yeah.
But
That's
I
his
will,
cross to
I will
bear.
get, I will get into it once the postseason. But
Yeah.
I am more that mainstream. So to get me to watch that,
Well, you're doing Final Four right now, obviously.
I did a lot of
College-
fight.
college
Little
basketball.
over Pittsburgh. I did hours on that.
That was
the
a
other
great
day.
game over the weekend.
Everybody see that?
I know nothing about college sports.
That was anybody?
I-
Bill
Well,
Well,
Anthony?
I just heard. No, again.
How do you
I'm
not see that?
It was an amazing game.
College
really was.
basketball, not my forte. But I did hear about the signing of Coach. Jesus Christ! how much-
Calipari.
Holy shit! I didn't know that kind of money was going around. in
$35
college
million bucks,
basketball.
whatever they gave him. 9 years.
$35 million.
Leaving Memphis and fucking over those kids that went to Memphis to play for Calipari. Now
Right.
he's going to Kentucky.
Well, they can follow him if they
Kentucky's the-
want.
Huh?
They can follow him if they want. They let him out of their recruiting thing. So if they want to, they can go follow him.
Kentucky is the job to get in
Had to
college
take
basketball,
he had to
right?
take the job. I mean, he had been in Memphis a long time.
Yeah.
See, the problem with Memphis is they're in a bad conference. So they play teams like UAB and UCF and Tulsa. There's no rivalry. It's Memphis and everybody else. I mean, they haven't lost a conference game in 57 games.
Really?
It goes to Kentucky. Kentucky. There's about 9 or 10 huge college basketball jobs. There's North Carolina. There's Duke. There's Louisville. There's UCLA. There's
The
Kansas.
Scarlet Knights.
Rutgers. No, not them. And there's Kentucky. So he took one of the jobs.
Yeah, yeah. Who wins it all?
I think Carolina's the best team.
Yeah.
But it's the best. Carolina's the best team out of the four.
Right.
If they play their best game,
But you got Michigan State home field advantage.
that helps. But that's
how great is that?
But that's a huge stadium,
Yeah.
and basketball is an intimate game with 18,000. That's 70,000 seats. I don't know how that's going to transfer.
Well, big screens.
Well, but the fans going to get into it. They're 1,000 yards away.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we'll see how that works out.
I'm
There was
amazed that there's
150,000 people at a fight in 1918. You
Oh,
worried
yeah.
about a
Yeah.
basketball game?
Well,
back then.
he says home. See, Michigan State's in the Final Four. It's in Detroit,
It's in
so
Detroit.
they think
That's
all the
like-
Michigan State fans are going to go, but it's in a big stadium.
Oh, you don't
And
think
so you wonder if there's going to be enough. From
Right,
a
yeah.
noise perspective, you
Right.
wonder how that's going to translate.
I just think there's so many teams that will never ever make it to the Final Four or to the. It seems very split up, like
Top
college
heavy, top
ba-
heavy.
like there are teams that'll never
Now remember,
see the light of day.
3 years ago, George Mason out of nowhere made the Final Four. You remember
Yeah.
George
You
Mason
remember
was
that,
school
yeah.
in Virginia.
I
that beat
actually remember
Connecticut.
because listening to Ron and Fez.
Yeah.
I do remember hearing when big things happen
Like
in
that,
college.
right.
So that
ball.
one was a big
I don't
good
remember.
thing.
I honestly, I don't remember
The
that.
good thing about college basketball, it's Russian roulette. It's one game.
Yeah.
See, the best
Oh, yeah.
team wins in the NBA because it's best of 7. So you got to win 4 games. So that's why you don't see upsets in the NBA. That's why when the playoffs begin, the best teams make it because the Lakers are the best team in the West and they're going to beat New Orleans and all these teams. And the same thing in the East, the best teams get in because you got to beat them 4. It's hard to beat somebody. Jordan never lost. You can't beat them 4 times. College basketball, he lost.
Yeah.
He lost his junior year. They lost to Indiana. They didn't have one pro on the team. In North Carolina, had Brad Doherty. I had 4 pros on the team and Dean Smith.
Wait, is that
Had
true?
Worthy
Oh,
was on that
Worthy-
team?
No, he
I
was
love
gone.
James
Worthy was
Worthy.
gone.
Wait, I want to
Hooker
slow.
Preston,
Perkins or
Seattle.
something?
Hold on, I want to slow him down for a second. Indiana beats North Carolina.
They
None
say
of those
Jordan-
guys go to the pros
And,
after that?
I don't think they had one pro. Maybe
Oh.
Steve Alford, who played a little while.
Wow.
And North
I
Carolina,
never knew that.
and Knight beat Dean Smith at 74-70. Dan Dockich guarded Jordan. He had 11 points. Jordan had Doherty, who played in the NBA for 15 years. Sam Perkins, who played in the NBA for 15 years. He had Worthy was gone. But he
Downtown
had
Freddie Brown? Was he on that team?
He's a name from the past. Supersonic.
Lou Alcindor.
There's another name from the past. So that team, that's the nice thing
Meadowlark
about
Lemon.
Alcindor. Alcindor lost 1 game in college. Played 3 years, he lost 1 game.
Wow.
I mean, I think Lou won 3 championships. That's why he's the greatest college basketball player of all time. He lost 1 game in a 3-year period, 67, 68, 69.
Hey, who wins the NBA this year? LeBron James?
It's 3 teams. Cleveland, the Celtics, and the Lakers.
That's it.
That can win a championship. You know, that win a... It's going to be very interesting to see the Celtics play the Cavaliers.
Not many upsets in NBA.
That's it, because it's best of 7. But the Celtics and the Cavs will be interesting because Cavaliers have home court advantage, which they didn't have last year, and they lost the Celtics in 7, plus they got LeBron. But the Celtics have, they've got good player Pierce and Garnett, and they're the defending champs. That will be a very, very good.
What do you think about Marbury going to the Celtics?
I can't see him. I can't see him helping them in a big spot. I thought he'd play a little better. They need Garnett back.
Yeah.
Hasn't played that much. But the Celtics and Cavs will be a big. I mean, that will, for a guy like me, conventional sports fan, who is, likes the meat and potato stuff, I'll get 2 weeks out of that.
Really?
Celtics and Cavs every game. LeBron against Paul Pierce. That game will have a little juice. The average fan will get wrapped up in that series.
Yeah.
Are there any
So
sports?
I'll
I'm
get
sorry,
into it.
Chris. Are there any sports? You guys amaze me because they know everything about
No,
every
there's
sport.
sports I don't know. I don't know the boxing that well.
But say you don't know
horse racing, I don't know that
or
well.
that you don't
Boxing, you
like.
don't know well. You would go back in history.
Well, I do, but I don't know the current stuff that well.
Yes. I mean, is there any sports that you don't like? That you like? Say there's a game you don't give a shit about, but you have
That's
to
the
watch
hardest
it.
thing about. That's the hardest. See, the problem with a guy like me is the NHL and the NBA and college. Their regular seasons don't mean anything. So you sit there. You got to remember, college basketball. Who cares what you did in December? It's what you do in March. NBA, NHL, they play too many games. Too many teams make the playoffs. So those sports are hard to do on a day in day out basis because you can't get the fans.
How do you
getting
sound
involved.
excited about a Devils win?
It's not easy. In January.
beginning of the season.
That's
no one cares.
That's why February is a tough month to do a sports talk show.
That's why baseball
After
is-
football's over,
Wow,
you're dead.
yeah.
But
You're
baseball
done.
is the one. I mean,
I
you
get
could
so depressed when football's over.
you could talk baseball every
You could do
day.
it, right.
There's
It's
always something
162
going
games.
on.
See, baseball is good because it's a game every night.
Right, yeah.
Football,
yeah.
there's not a game every night. It's only once a week. Baseball, there's a game every night. And I understand a lot of people don't like baseball. We know the ratings are lousy and the younger fan gets bored watching 3-hour games. I understand that. But for baseball does have the most. It's the biggest sport in America historically. So baseball to a guy like me is still the best.
And
sport.
they've gotten so much into the personal angle of the players than they used to. It used to just be about the game, and occasionally they talk
Absolutely
about
now
Joe
it's-
DiMaggio's fingers, how they smelled. But
Nobody talked about
a bloody
Babe
lip.
Ruth. Nobody talked. Now, A-Rod, he can't. He can't
now
walk
it's
down
a
the
soap
street.
opera.
Right.
It's about the players personalize what this gun, he's screwing, what drugs is this guy taking, and then the game takes a back seat.
Now
on,
it's fun.
You're right.
Where are you at with the steroids?
Well, I hate the idea that people use
I
them.
see you taking him.
I've been working out. Look at that! Look at that! Look at that!
Should we just move on? Should we move on and realize it was happening and they didn't control it?
I
And
think
let's just
now
just
a
move on.
baseball fan would say, "Why don't we get a chance to see those 103 players?" So there's this list in
Right,
2000.
right.
Yes.
The 103 players. Now there are Hall of Famers on that list. Mm-hmm. So
Of course.
I'm going to take my kid, your kids down the road. Congratulations, by the way. Your kids down the road to go see Cooperstown, and you're going to see busts there, and they're going to be baseball players. Then you're going to find out 5 years that guy that you showed your kid is used steroids.
Why not?
And maybe because he's a great player because he used steroids.
Right.
So that's the problem that I have with it. Get that out. Get that list out, and then I can move on. But they're not
Well,
going
the
to get
whole
that list
thing,
out.
though,
Oh, you want
was
the list out? Yeah, definitely.
I want the list. As a baseball fan, I want to know who's doing steroids.
But that list was made under the they said that they weren't going to release these
Correct,
names. It's
right.
like when you do the census. It's like this isn't going to be used. This is just to
Anthony,
target.
we're not throwing people in jail. They make their public money off the public good.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's when they were given that survey and asked those questions, they said these
Anonymous.
are not going to be
Correct.
made public. They're anonymous. So that's it. It's like a sealed record. Throw it away.
But again, this is not a situation where it's a court of law. This is just a court of public opinion. Don't you have I pay, although I buy DirecTV. I go to games. I put my emotion into the sport and follow it. Don't I have a right to know what player, if you have an issue with steroids? Some people don't. But don't you have a right to know
don't know
what
if you do.
player
I don't know either.
cheated the game?
I
I think I have a right to know that.
I don't know.
I'm not taking
Maybe
their money
not
away.
under this circumstance, because this list, like I said, it was not supposed to be let out.
But did they do something that they shouldn't have done to give them a competitive advantage?
Okay,
Let's
what
say
about
you as a juvenile did something.
They're
and
not
they put-
juvenile. These are
no, I'm
25-year-old
just saying-
men.
I'm just using like the same kind of setup where you as a juvenile did something. Your records are sealed. Now, they said these records are sealed. They're not coming out. And then all of a sudden somebody goes, I want to know if he's got these sealed records. I want to know what's in him. It's under they gave you in confidence, told you that this will not come out.
What do I
and
tell
that's
Henry?
what they told them.
What do I tell Henry Aaron then? 755 home runs. Henry, by the way, Bonds is on that list, and he broke your record, so you don't have it anymore, and he cheated. What do I tell Henry Aaron?
Yeah,
The
wow.
baseball
What do I tell
shop-
Roger Maris? What do I tell Roger Maris'
Well,
family?
then find some other way to find out if he did it. But
Yeah.
this list thing, I think, is a tricky situation.
I understand that point, but to me, we are not throwing them in jail. We're not kicking them out of baseball. We want to find out who cheated the sport. And think about this for a second. They knew for a year that they were going to be mandatory. They were going to be tested just to see if they got over this 5% threshold. If there was 5% more players who tested positive for steroids, they were going to put in a drug testing program.
Right.
And so they knew for a year. And still 104 people were dumb enough to fail their drug tests. Wouldn't you think if you knew you were going to be tested that for a week or two or a month, you get off the cycle so you wouldn't be found positive?
Up till
How dumb
when
can
was
you be?
it fine? Up till when was it actually not
Where, what year
a
was it,
problem
like,
with
you can't use
baseball
this, you
that
can't
they
use-
said you can't use it?
2002.
All right, then anyone before that is fine.
Yeah, but this was in 2003.
All right, but are you agreeing that before that, when it was still legal to do it in baseball, are those any records that were set before that? Is that okay with you?
No, it's not.
No?
Yeah, and how does that work where
Well, why?
it
If they
wasn't
were-
legal in public?
I mean,
but
do you think-
it's
do you
think-
not illegal
it's-
in baseball?
I know,
because the
it's-
union in baseball is impossible. I mean, who's the home run champ? Mark McGuire or Roger Maris? Single season.
Yeah, I know. Well,
It's Roger
you-
Maris.
Yeah,
it's all of his-
Barry
Well,
Bonds.
No,
Babe
you're looking
Ruth,
at
it's
McGuire.
Kim
Really
Jones.
old school.
I was saying
Bonds
McGuire
too.
looked like
Okay. So
when he was
if
in
it's-
court
but
testifying, he looked like Mr. Magoo.
Steroids wasn't illegal then.
No.
But we all know that he had an unfair advantage.
You had to.
It's artificial.
And again, Maris had 9 extra games.
That's fair too. 8 extra games. That's not his fault though. He didn't change the schedule. The schedule was 100. Jimmy, that's good.
But
That's a good one, though. He got you there.
But hold on,
He did
my
over.
question
Little
is,
bit,
even
little
though
bit.
he didn't change the rules, Mark McGuire, if he wasn't doing anything he wasn't supposed to
He
be
wasn't
doing, he was making a choice to do steroids, but he wasn't doing anything he wasn't supposed to be doing. Shouldn't his record stand too?
See, I don't think so. Because McGuire would not have hit 61 home runs if it wasn't for steroids.
But what about when Babe Ruth was playing, when only white guys could play? You got 2/3 of the talent weren't even
And
allowed
he
in the
was a
league.
fast. People would argue though that
no
black
Pedro
pitchers.
got you there,
Martinez,
Chris.
no
Oh, that's
CC
true.
Sabathias,
But,
none
and
of those
Babe Ruth
guys.
was a
Got you
fat
there.
white alcoholic with syphilis. That's a hero. He still
Nice.
hit 60 home
Yeah,
runs.
Fair point. I mean, Ruth was a guy that had a lot of issues. I mean, but the issue about Ruth, you're 100% right about that. But remember, Ruth was great anyway. If Satchel Paige was, he'd still hit all the home runs. I mean, Ruth was so good. He was at a so the idea that
He
blacks
looks like
on
a
this,
ringer in like a softball league. Like
That's
he worked,
what he was.
he worked in a warehouse
Like the
or
kids
something.
league. He's
Yeah.
the big retarded kid.
I mean, Babe Ruth out-homered the league.
Yeah, he was
Forget
out-homering
team.
teams.
Yeah, I know, that's
so,
true.
So I don't know
Jesus.
who
Yeah,
played. I mean, he
had
hit
more
home runs
homers
off Water
Yeah, but what
Johnson.
about
Who's better than Water Johnson?
You know why? Steroids.
You think so?
No, but back
He would have
then,
if he had a
Invented him.
chance to.
not to disrespect
Probably
guys
would've.
back then, but it was like the beginning of professional sports leagues. And I know it was still a big thing back then, but I mean, they didn't have sports science. They didn't have any of that stuff. I mean, he looks like Greg Luzinski. I'm not trying to disrespect the
fair
guy,
point.
but you know,
but I will
just
give
the
you.
greatest home run hitter of all time.
Here's a good stat.
And he was a great pitcher.
Here's a good stat for
Incredible
you.
pitcher. Yeah, he's young. I know.
Did you know that before '98, Bonds only hit 3 home runs more than 450 feet? 3. Did you know how many home runs did Ruth hit over 500 feet? 25.
And that was dead ball era too.
25 home runs Ruth hit over 500 feet.
Here's a question.
And Bonds,
Christ,
people,
that's
now
amazing.
think about that for a second.
Yeah, but they had that
It's
little
amazing.
kitty gate out there in right field too
Yeah, but
that they
500
made
feet,
for.
you still got to count the feet.
I'm not counting that. I'm not counting that. What I'm saying is, he had so many. They come on. They really helped him out with that little.
Oh, that's Yankee
If
Stadium.
you
Built
back
Yankee
up-
Stadium for him.
Devil's
But
advocate.
if Ruth came in here today, we'd all love him. You know,
Yeah.
he's got a personality.
Yeah.
But
we
then
don't
again,
get a kick out of him.
Then again, the people would say too that Bonds had to face a lot of relief pitchers, and and a lot of it was not facing the same pitcher through double
You
headers
can
like
make
Babe Ruth
that.
was too.
You can make that argument. No, Mariano Rivera in Babe Ruth's league.
Right. Same guy would pitch a double header, which you got to be able to hit him
There-
fucking the
there
eighth
is
time
some truth
around.
to that.
Guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Who at night, like he helped out his income by being like a barbershop quartet.
You said in there that
Too wordy.
Bonds hit 3 homers over 450
Something
feet.
like that. I think it's
Do you know how many he hit after 98?
like there's a ton.
All of
He's
them.
whacking him. Yeah.
I mean, over
Every one of
450
them.
feet.
There is
Probably, right?
There's a guy in Philadelphia who's is an historian who's done all this calculations, and Bonds after '98 had home runs 475 feet,
And he got
why?
taller.
Because he did.
But this is the thing
hot
about
size,
Bonds,
all
though.
that
Head
stuff.
got giant.
But this is the thing about Bonds. Bonds was doing it. I think he was doing the right thing right up until '98, and he was more talented than the guys getting all the press.
Good
and he's
sports
sitting around and nobody's saying anything.
Good
so he's
point.
like, "You got to be kidding me."
That's
so
exactly what it
when
was.
the history books are written, even though I'm better than these guys are all juiced up, so they're going to get the credit. If you're not going to stop him, to hell with it. I'm going to do it.
But
too.
how come-
I think he got caught up in the times.
I think
You really
but
do?
how come Ken Griffey never touched the stuff?
Ken, you know what's something about Ken Griffey?
Ken Griffey had
this
the
is how-
morality not to do it. Why didn't Bonds?
And this is how you know, because Ken Griffey is having a career the way you used to have guys have careers, where
Right.
you'd see a guy, he was just look unstoppable, and then he get that one injury, and he was never the same.
Correct.
All these other guys get these horrific injuries, and then they end up having career years.
we have ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, Bill knows this shit.
Billy's
How does
good.
that happen?
Yeah,
Billy's
like
a
that,
good
that, that,
sports
that
You gotta
guy.
have
Clemens
Billy on
stuff,
your show.
That
Billy,
Clemens,
that's a good point.
the Clemens stuff people were freaking out about is the most obvious thing ever.
He threw a bat at Piazza.
It was Reuter. He caught it.
Oh, it's
He
Rage
threw a
Roy.
ball through a guy's bat.
Yeah.
The sheared off thing came flying at him. He caught it like the Hulk and brought it back. And then quickly was like, "Hey, wait a minute,
He goes
bring
at
it
him
down,
like
bring
a
it down."
caveman.
Royd's rage for Clemens. No question about it.
What's going to happen with him?
I don't think he's going to the Hall of Fame.
But now they're
I don't
talking.
think those writers are going to vote for him.
That's insanity, though.
I think that is too.
Well, again,
Wow.
the writers are going to base this on consistency. They are not going to vote McGuire, Sosa, Bonds, Clemens, Palmeiro. Those guys are not. They're not going to the Hall of Fame.
Amazing.
Now, A-Rod's got a little advantage here because don't forget when Clemens and Bonds, all these guys, their career is over. So that was your last memory of him talking to Congress and all that. While A-Rod's got 7 or 8 years to still play
and prove himself,
to give you another different imprint.
Yeah, but there's more shit coming out of
That
the
might be
A-Rod
true.
closet.
But from a steroid perspective, probably not.
I don't think that. I think I personally, as a fan, don't care if they use it because they're all allowed to use it. It doesn't bother because again,
Yeah, I have a
that's the
problem
one
with it.
thing they say. But then again, sports medicine is so much different now, and workouts and injuries healing, and there's so much everything.
But it does give you there's no argument. It does give you a competitive advantage.
But other people are allowed to use it too, right? It's not like
well, they could have. I mean, back in the late 90s.
working out gives you a competitive advantage. Like lifting weights gives you a competitive advantage.
That's true, yeah.
And people
It's a
choose to do it or they
it's a
choose not to
shortcut.
do it.
Yeah, maybe, who knows?
but you
maybe
have to do
McGuire
some
could have
work
gotten
there. You don't
huge
just
if
get
he
a
just
shot,
worked his
a magic
ass
spot.
off
Possible.
in the gym. It's
possible. Don't forget, he did hit 49 home runs his rookie year. He was thinner as a rail. So,
Yeah.
I mean, half these guys, as you said, Bonds didn't need steroids, but he was annoyed because McGuire and Sosa were getting all these accolades. Everybody kind of forgot how good Bonds was. See, Bonds was a great player prior to steroids.
Didn't the press just hate him though? The sports writers hate him like fucking Eddie Murray. They just he was kind of a dick and they didn't like him.
That's part of it. But Bonds is a louse.
At least
he's a
A-Rod-
hard guy to get. He's a hard guy to wrap your arms around. Is what it comes down to.
At least A-Rod stopped. He cycled off of him during postseason every year. Jesus Christ!
Never hits a damn
Dude,
thing.
how
So
about you take him?
you guys like baseball then? We got baseball.
we do
fans.
baseball.
Yeah.
We do a little baseball.
And you love the NFL, right?
NFL rules.
How about college football?
I'm stunned at the amount of people that love college.
College football is huge.
You watch
Oh,
the
great.
games, and the stadiums are packed with people that are so goddamn happy to be there.
They play. You ever play Ohio? You play the Columbus Funny Bone, Ohio State?
Yeah, I went to
During
Ohio State
football
game.
Oh,
season?
yeah, Michigan and Ohio State.
Oh my
absolutely.
God! You play
Really?
a city, one of those
They're
cities.
some of these cities are crazy about their football.
They really are.
Isn't wait? Were you saying?
Dude, you should go out to like Nebraska where they don't have any major,
remember where.
no professional team.
One
Go to
city
Lincoln
that's
for a
just
football game.
Crazy
Yeah.
about their goddamn college.
I mean, college
football
football.
team.
I've learned out here doing this show because in New York, when you're doing radio, you don't have all this college
Right.
football stuff.
Right.
But now you're here. And as you said, Opie, you're getting calls all over the country. You get a lot of college football stuff, so you got to be a little more on top of it.
It's the most
because Tuscaloosa can. But see, college football. the smaller towns. Tuscaloosa, Lincoln, Nebraska.
It's exciting.
Gainesville,
Iowa.
Florida.
My nephew,
Iowa,
all those
Knoxville,
Texas
Tennessee.
schools.
It's the
My
smaller
nephew
schools.
goes to Gainesville. Huge college football
Huge,
fan.
big.
Huge.
Austin, Texas.
Travels with the team
huge.
to check out the games on
Right.
the road.
Look at what
College
George-
football is a great sport to watch.
Oh, it is good sport.
But you don't have any loyalty to these teams. That's the problem.
There's,
I mean, if you
you're not a
went
fan.
there, then
We
forget
don't
it.
have
No,
any
but
loyalty.
that's you know what that is?
Growing up here, we don't have any
Yeah,
loyalty.
No,
that-
because up here we had no
Correct.
real good college football team.
Right. So
He's
here
right.
we don't care. So you're not.
Yeah.
You don't have any emotional involvement.
I go to
Right.
Hofstra to watch the Jets practice. I'm not going to watch
Yeah.
No, we
Hofstra.
were talking about Cutler before. A lot of guys
Yeah.
want Cutler now to play for the Jets.
You don't want it.
I would. Well, listen. I know you need a quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
but boy, I tell you, Cutler is the biggest crybaby known to man.
We don't want him?
I'd be very leery. Him in New York
Well, who
City.
are we going to get?
Him in
I'm a
New
Jets
York City
fan.
dealing
Help
with
me out
this.
here.
He is a baby.
I'm a Patriots fan. I hope you get him.
Yeah, right. Got a
Get
Patriots
him. He sounds
fan in
like
the
a
room.
great guy.
And I mean, listen, he is very good. So
Yeah.
he's got a great arm and everything else. So the Jet fan's going to want him. But I tell you, I'd be careful.
Better than Brett Favre.
Yeah, well, Favre's terrible.
I said that as soon as we got him. Like, stop getting
That was
excited. This ain't
Gimmick move.
This isn't going to work.
Gimmick move.
You
That
can't
was the
blame
worst-
the Jets for doing it, but it turned out it was a
Nah,
lousy move.
It was a lousy move, yeah. But when there was after they beat Tennessee, come on, weren't you thinking?
There you go. But he's a good sports fan. You got some good
don't know.
sports. Anthony, you got some good sports fans in the
Yeah,
house.
let's go. Let's talk.
All right, here's
I'm
this
just
one.
honest.
It's
Billy's
America,
outside.
Mr. Russo. It's America. There's a new game out.
Let's go back to baseball for a second. Have you been to Citi Field?
I haven't yet.
The new Shea
You
Stadium.
know, I'm having a lot of trouble. Don't forget, my old radio station is not allowing me to do any of these broadcasts.
What?
Oh, that's right. They're blocking you.
They're
Huh?
not
No,
ready.
I went to spring training, and they wouldn't let me do the show at the Mets spring training base in Port St.
Why
Lucie.
are they being
I
such
had to go to,
babies?
I had to go to Vieira to do it on the road.
Really?
Very, very
Is
difficult.
it still a contract thing? That
No,
you're-
it's just that they don't want me competing with the local angle
so
of
they're
New
just-
York. So they're going to make it difficult. So as for
They-
me to go to Citi Field, I got no chance.
And what, they got the
Yankee
re-
Stadium
yeah.
and the new Yankee Stadium
You can't-
because CBS owns the rights.
They got the relationships with them to keep you
They have
out.
the broadcast race, so I can't do
Oh,
the shows there.
God.
That's a problem.
Well, don't you know
Yeah.
Steinbrenner? I mean, you had to have interviewed Steinbrenner or those guys.
It's not that. It's the contractual language with the radio contract that they have the right to kick anybody out who's not a CBS affiliate. And obviously, we don't have that right, so that's a problem. So when I went to spring training, I had to go to Vieira to watch the Nationals play the Mets because I couldn't do the show in Port St. Lucie.
Right,
How about that?
What a pain in the ass.
On March 10th.
He knows the day.
Driving 120 miles to Vieira
Or Mad Dog's World,
to
we
do
call
the
it
Nationals
Black
and the
Monday.
Mets.
Oh,
And not only that,
damn.
Mr. Wilpon had to call FAM because they didn't want me to do Jerry Manuel
Really?
because they have a contract with Manuel once a week where they talk to FAM talks to Manuel beginning April 1st. But in March, they didn't want me to have Manuel on, so Mr. Wilpon had to call FAM and say, hold on now.
Yeah.
The guy came to Vieira, let him talk to the manager for 10 minutes. Will you please? It's March.
Yeah.
And they
so
did
I
it?
got Manuel.
Good.
You talk with Mike at all?
I have talked to him some, yeah.
Yeah?
I've talked to him some. And I'm going to miss, I'll tell you right now, this weekend is going to be a tough weekend for me because, Mike will be, I'll miss the aspect of not being in those new ballparks doing shows. I'll be the first
Oh,
to
my
admit that.
God, right?
That'll
That'll
suck.
I miss,
Because I'm a New Yorker.
so
I'm
exciting,
a New Yorker.
yeah.
Maybe we could put you in a hot air balloon above the stadium.
I can do it in the parking lot.
Part of my football was you and Mike yelling at You're wrong, Mike.
Yeah.
I look forward to that Monday morning.
We missed some of that. Yeah, the Jets.
God.
You guys are good.
You know what?
Good sports.
Fuck the new stadiums. I'll take a few $1 million and I'll watch it on TV.
In a lot of ways, Jimmy.
Well, the one thing I liked about you and when you and Mike were doing, I was a huge fan of Mike and the Mad Dog, and I'm still a fan of Mad Dog, not so much Mike, is when you got off sports. You still doing
Had some fun. Oh, yeah.
Are you doing that with your new show?
Absolutely.
When you start talking movies or little current events and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was very refreshing.
Kids, talking to my kids a lot.
When you guys took that
Yeah.
break and just went into
Got
some...
it. 10 minutes, do something else.
Yeah, I love that. I
Yeah.
hope you're continuing
It's
that.
a little harder now because I don't have a partner, so I have to find my way. But I'll give you an example. I saw Milk the other day. First time did you see Milk? Anybody see Milk?
Oh, yeah. That
Could
one we
not get
saw.
the tent out of my pants.
Rough. Tough to see. But I tell you, good. He did a tremendous job.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean Penn was
yeah.
great. in
The
that.
movie
It
was
wasn't
great.
even like
movie
you're
was
watching Sean Penn.
the movie was a hell
The
of a
one
film.
kiss was a
Yeah.
little rough, though, right?
Oh, the kid.
Well,
all that-
Anthony had a problem with the playful spanking scene.
Yeah, when we had his little Hispanic boyfriend where he
Right.
drags him in, and then the next scene they're naked on a mattress and he's pulling him back and playfully spanking his bottom. I was just like, oh, right.
But the,
I
but
like
the
how-
movie is
I was hoping
really.
so.
I like how
yeah.
they got it out of the way early, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you were in the
Yeah.
movie 30 seconds and there was some
Right,
dude with
right,
a
the subway.
I was like, all right, all right.
Subway. Yeah, subway.
It's like, all right, let's get this out of the way.
Tear the Band-Aid off.
This
There you go. All right.
is what
There's
we're
gonna
going to be
male
watching for
kissing.
2 hours.
Band-Aid off.
That's like the scene in Godfather. I left it loud to scare away any pain in the ass innocent bystander.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going to spank a boy. If you're weak, leave now.
There it is. There's a kiss in the beginning.
But I
After
tell you,
that-
But you could tell he
was good.
negotiated.
Oh,
he
he was-
negotiated
Yeah.
one good kiss. He goes, "I'll give you one good man-on-man kiss," and then the rest of them were in the shadows and stuff. He wasn't kissing nobody
that may
anymore.
be I tell you though, he was great
Yeah.
in that movie.
Yeah, you
Oh,
totally
yeah,
you
he
forgot it was
deserved
him.
it.
Forgot that's why he was
you
great.
forgot it was
You
him.
forgot it was
Yeah.
Sean Penn. If an actor can do that and he's a big actor, you know
Yeah.
he did a hell of a
The
job.
problem with Mickey Rourke, he was playing himself.
Yeah, I didn't
He
love
wasn't
that
really
movie.
acting.
He was good, but I didn't love the movie. You guys love that movie? I didn't love
Yes.
the movie that much.
I was going to
think-
say, he was great in a really good movie. The movie was good, but he was great. That scene
Yeah.
when he's behind the deli counter and
good
just
scene.
show business
Oh,
is
that
in
was
his,
great,
in his
right.
blood. He just turns it into a performance. It was one of my favorite things
See,
I
he
saw
was
last
too
year.
predictable in that movie. You kind of knew he was going to go back the whole way through. Did you see it, Anthony?
Yeah.
You kind of knew he was going to go back to the ring. You kind of knew he might do something crazy with that heart. So it was just too predictable. So that's
I
why
must
I
be
had
a sap.
had
I was
problem with
holding
that.
out for the love story on that one. I thought he was going to get together with the stripper.
She got there too late. She got to that damn thing
little
too
too
late.
late, right?
Got there 5 minutes too late. Maybe he would. I do as much as that as I
What's your
possibly
favorite TV show right now?
can. I don't watch a lot of television.
Because you're too busy.
You know,
Take
I
a
just,
favorite
my
sports.
wife, well, I just don't watch that much.
Just
ER,
say
isn't
rescue
ER
me
on?
so I can get my
ER
plug in.
When is ER?
What's with that Caroline in the
Leo's up.
City? Is that they still making episodes of that?
ER ends tomorrow night. Finally.
Are they bringing everybody back?
Finally.
Yes.
I think I was doing
Are they bringing
radio.
everybody back?
Yeah, for the
I said
final
finally
episode.
because I think I was doing radio in Buffalo when that
Not-
series
not
started.
George Clooney.
That's a long time ago.
I actually know how this series ends.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really?
Uh-huh.
Spoiler.
Yeah, seriously. They put a nuke in the hospital and it blows up. Gives a
Shut
shit.
up.
Stupid hospital show. We get it. You're a doctor.
Enough of the hospital.
He's going to die. Stat. Go to commercial.
Unbelievable.
I've never seen an episode of that show. You watch The Wire?
I don't watch the television. Do you guys see
Wire rules.
Now you got to watch a lot of TV to do this shit every day.
You guys do a tremendous job.
Yeah,
of
we
it.
have to do
It's
sports,
just-
current event, pop culture.
That's right.
Well, we do it
I
all
can't, I
half-assed.
can't focus on one thing.
We do everything half-assed. You're good at what you do.
I'm good, so I concentrate, But I read books. And I
Show off.
Still love Springsteen. still love Bruce, as you know.
Oh,
so I do all that.
Well, you love this Bruce, huh? Bobo's not here
Oh,
today.
poor
We
Bobo.
had a
Where's
little-
Bobo?
Forget it.
Here's our
Hey,
sports.
Mike.
Here's our sports break.
Yeah.
Cleveland over Detroit, 79-73. Now an hour of dick jokes.
Hey, Mike, what's the worst sporting
Mike?
event you had to watch because you knew
It's
everybody?
Mad Dog.
Yeah, he's not Mike.
That's okay. He's,
sorry.
Billy
Chris.
can.
I thought it was-
No
I'm
problem.
thinking, Mike,
How many
what's,
times you get that? Because I get
I get all the time. You
Opie.
guys got to get all the time
Hey,
too, right?
Opie,
Yes.
which one's which?
It's a compliment.
looks
It's a
Italian?
compliment.
what,
It's a
Yeah, I
what's,
know.
what's the worst sporting event you had to watch? Just
Had to?
you just knew everyone was going to talk about it the next day. What's the worst one?
I think the worst thing that I can recall being at Final Four about 5 years ago, the year that Carmelo Anthony won for Syracuse. Syracuse played Texas in the second game in New Orleans. The first game was Marquette in Kansas. Okay, so I go
God,
to
how do you
the.
remember that
That was
stuff?
Dwayne Wade in Kansas. So we get to the arena, in a big booth. The first game, Kansas, they destroyed Marquette. They were up 20-4. The game was never enticing. It was so. First 5 minutes, the first game. You got to stay for both games. It's 20-4, so the game's over. You got to sit through halftime. Then you got to go watch the second half. The game's a disaster. Then you got to sit through a 30-minute break before the second game even starts. That is the worst sporting experience I've ever had. In my
Oh,
freaking
wow,
life.
yeah, that
Sitting
sounds
there
dull.
that long to see. See, that's the problem with the Final Four. If you go to the Final Four and the first game is lousy,
stuck.
you say that game on Saturday, it starts at 6:07. Say that first game Saturday, which is the Michigan State game. For whatever the reason, let's just say that's a lousy game, and you're in this, and by 6:45 the game's over. You know who's going to win? The second game doesn't start till 9 o'clock at night.
Jesus.
Now what?
And you can't drink at the NCAA, you know.
Really?
They can't let you buy booze.
Why?
Because it's college.
Oh.
You
Even if
cannot
it's
buy
21?
booze. While the BCS championship game, you can.
They give it
because
to
the
you.
BCS is not, and it's not an NCAA event. It's a Fox TV event. So if you go to a BCS football game in a stadium, you can buy booze.
Fucking
you
beer
cannot,
sales they're losing out on.
You cannot do that in an
What's that
NCAA because it's an NCAA
number?
event. You can't buy stuff. So if you want to go on Saturday night to Detroit and it's a bad first game, you want to buy a couple, you can't do it. Another problem.
So they won't let people drink at at least they're in touch with the way college students think.
In a suite.
There should be
In a-
rolling kegs out for
Yeah.
In a
everybody.
suite,
No
you
booze,
can.
no
you can
date
buy
rape.
pot in the
In a-
bathroom.
In a suite, you can, but you can't. How about
Amazing.
That's what college students do. They get together, everybody has some punch, pass around
Yeah,
a few,
sure.
Have some pop.
apple
Some
fritters.
sody.
That was
pop.
that NCAA is a tough event. If you get a bad first game, that's a bad event. That Final Four stuff.
How many games are there a night in the Final Four? Two?
Two.
And then the next night? Okay.
And then the 2 day, then a week from next Monday, if you're a sports fan, is a great sports day because you got the opening of baseball season. You're a Met fan, right, Opie?
Yes.
Anthony, you a Met fan too?
Yankees.
Yankees.
Not
So
practicing.
That helps.
Not,
Not
a,
practicing.
Not a practicing Mets fan.
So-
I just take a peek.
But you know what's going on.
Yeah, Boston head.
You know who the fifth starter is?
No, that's what I mean. I don't.
You know who the third starter is?
No.
You know who Yohan Santana is?
Yes, of course.
Tom Seaver.
I gotta
You ever
get
hear
back-
Bob Apodaca.
I will give you $100 if
Ed
you can tell me where
Kraepel.
Bob Apodaca is
Tell
right
my
now.
Howard Johnson
Bob
story.
Apodaca right now is coaching high school in somewhere in the old Soviet bloc.
Close.
Where is he?
Rockies is a pitching coach.
Okay.
But that's a good name you brought up there. But see, Monday, though, you got the
Rockies.
opening of the baseball season,
Right.
and at 9 o'clock, you got the NCAA championship game. So if you are a sports fan, a guy like me, Monday's
That's
a great
nice.
day.
Yeah.
Still ain't
It's a
football.
breeze the
It's not
next
the NFL.
day.
It still
Nothing's
ain't
the
football.
NFL.
Are we going to go to 18 games? They're going to go to 18 games?
You know, they probably will, but they got to negotiate that with the union. And the union, those players,
Oh, man,
you
yeah,
know,
they're
they're
gonna
going to
want
want
some more
something back
money.
out of that,
Right.
Because right now they only get paid for they don't get paid for the preseason. They don't get paid for the 16 games. So you're going to have to give them. If you do the math, you got to add how many games. You got to have to give them
smart.
stuff back.
It's
So-
smart. Make those preseason games
Oh,
count.
I
a lot
tell
of
you,
money.
nobody cares.
They should push the season
Smart.
off.
Well, they're going to do
make
that
it go
too.
past, make it go into February.
They're going to do it President's Weekend.
They're going to
That's
wear
the
those
idea.
guys out,
Play
though,
the
man.
Super Bowl the Sunday before President's
That
Day.
is tough, though,
They're gonna
because
wear
those
them
guys,
out.
by the end of the
Give-
season,
give
some of
each
those
team
guys are
another
falling
bye.
apart now.
Well, they'll
Give
maybe
them another
expand the
bye.
roster a little bit.
No, you know that's what they're going to do
Yeah.
that too. These guys, you guys got some good sports.
That's
fans
gonna be a
here.
lot of money.
Jeez. They all go to
make a lot of
Spanish.
money.
A lot of
You
money, but
kidding?
yeah, okay, yeah.
See the
the
money the
extra games.
NFL makes?
You know what it is? We just have no lives, so we really
None.
want an extra 2 weeks of this stuff. That's what they're doing. And we want them
You wanna
to
know what it is
damage
for me?
their
I have
bodies.
another 2 weeks to talk to something with my father about. When I call, it's not like, how you doing? It's fine. Okay, I got to go.
Everybody, I'm there too with my old man. If
Yeah.
I don't talk about the Yankees, I'm a dead man. That's what he wants to talk about.
You're a Giants fan, though. We all know
Yeah,
that.
so he wouldn't know Tim Lincecum if he fell on him sometimes. It's never two-way with your father. You ever notice
No,
that?
yeah.
You call your father, you got to talk about what he wants to talk about. You
Yeah.
never can talk about what you want to talk
And
about.
I give him the football information, and he gets this. But he's listening.
He's listening,
He's
yeah.
listening.
I
I'm
call him
giving
like that. I'm
something.
like, you see the Giants game? He's like, that Manning is dishy. I'm like, I gotta go.
My father's not listening.
He's not. Yeah, Jesus. He's listening, isn't he?
Somewhere
where's your
up
family
in
live?
Somewhere up in heaven.
Oh.
Me and Aunt don't
Somewhere
have
up
fathers.
in heaven.
Hey,
So
who
this is
says
a
he's
little
not?
awkward.
Who says he's not listening?
Yeah, he's probably you're one of
Who
those
says
guys.
he's not listening? Hey,
Probably
why
not
not?
really sure. what's going on.
I know he's not in a college basketball
one
game
of
if you
those
can't get a
guys.
drink.
I hope. You know what? We hope he's listening because we're going to be up there too one day.
Yeah, right.
Wow,
Yeah, where the hell are you?
We all want to be listening in about
That's it.
30, 40
And
years.
heaven is football season year round.
There you go. That's it. You got to hope that's. You got to hope he is up there.
Jets
someday.
win every year
There
in
you go.
heaven.
So what else is going on with you guys? What else is happening with you
Well,
guys?
we're moving to the.
Yeah, the big move.
We're gonna be seeing you every day.
We're gonna
there,
be in
Chris.
those
Hey,
glass hallways.
Are you bothered by that?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't.
So
blame you.
bothered.
This is a
Here, it's out
wonderful
of sight,
spot.
out of mind. Every so often, Steve will come here and, yeah, how you guys doing? And to be in those hallways, the glass hallways where there's no privacy at all, they're real trusting over there, aren't
Yeah,
they?
it's,
Everything's glass.
They want to keep an eye
gonna
on you.
be
They
like
want to save money. What's the
We've already been yelled at 3 times where everyone can see us being yelled at because
Oh,
of those
really?
glass offices.
Oh, remember that time
yeah.
you were walking
Oh,
by?
I did. I did hear you guys
and
screaming.
you're like,
I said,
and
"Geez,
we're
what's going on in there?"
screaming at the top of our lungs, mother.
Just in case people think we're bullshitting, Chris.
I did hear that.
You
Chris
saw
comes
that.
to peek his head and he's
Well,
like,
no,
"Oh, stay away from this
But
fucking
nobody's gonna bother you guys.
Stay away from this
Wow,
mess."
you guys were literally screaming.
Screaming, and we're in a glass office, and everyone's walking by.
We had I got up where I was standing, and it was me and Scott. We were just face to face screaming at each other, cursing, and
As long as you can forget about the
and
next day,
everyone's
that's all.
just walking past like I think a tour was going through. And here's the Opie and Anthony show being yelled at by management. taking their phones out and snapping pictures of veins popping in my head.
I don't know which one this is, but he's angry.
Who's more emotional? Is Anthony more emotional than you two?
No.
Oh, you are off, huh?
We
yeah, but when
become.
but the beauty is when Ant goes off like
you
that.
lay
then-
low. You lay low, right? You can't go
well,
crazy.
we take turns.
We
both.
become the pros, and you probably know, being partnered up with a radio partner for so many years, you play a good cop, bad cop role, and
Yes.
it can work out very well.
They're listening to
They
us.
know. But the thing with us is they don't know which one's going to be bad cop. It's like, oh, I could sit down and relax because this is the wham phone book in the face, you know?
The best is when we're both bad cops.
Oh,
Those
yeah,
are
yeah.
a lot of fun.
Opie will get, if I get very angry, I'll get angry where I'm screaming and cursing and just, what the fuck is going through your head? But then Opie will just sit back and get like, well, if you weren't being a dick, you wouldn't have to deal with this. Like, he gets so sarcastic and soft-spoken, but so sarcastic
Yeah, I'll
and
drive you
just
crazy.
nasty. And the guy, whoever we're arguing with, is just like, I can't deal with this.
But you guys have a good relationship. You guys get along well.
Yeah,
though.
Yeah.
We have our moments.
have a good
like,
relationship.
You want
Yes,
to
like
you
Sheila
want
and
to
your
grape?
we have our moments, just like you and
Well,
Mike.
you have
Yeah,
your
yeah.
moments.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
guys get. I can tell.
Over-
2 times I've seen you
Let me
guys.
tell
You guys get along.
Over 14 years of radio, we
14?
probably
You
had
got
3 blowouts.
How long did it last? A day, a week, a month? How long?
Not that long.
No,
days,
it'll last
maybe.
till we talk on the phone and we go, we
You
talk
talk.
it out.
You talk 20 times a day on the phone after the show.
There have been. We used to
we're
talk a
past
lot
that.
more, but now it's like,
When's 10 o'clock rolls? That's it? Or 11 o'clock? What time are you off? 11
Yeah,
o'clock,
we're
right?
pretty much out.
check
when
in here and
when
there.
there's crisis, we'll usually start texting and shit like
All
that.
right, what's our
But how are we going to get
What's
out
our
of this
angle on
shit?
this
Oh
one?
my
Listen,
Oh, fuck, do you think we're fired? What do you think?
And you guys have a great support. You have a great
I know.
support cast.
Jimmy,
I'm like the
everybody we got.
codependent daughter who has to explain which parent is upset at the moment. No, Daddy's drunk. Mommy's feeling emotional.
You know, though, from
I know.
being with a radio partner for so many
It's,
years.
I did it 19 years.
It
I mean,
just-
it's a different.
wow.
It's a different
And you
dynamic.
guys really hated each other.
You know, we talked about that 1,000 times. That's a little overrated.
God,
that stuff.
dude.
What was your longest blowout, though? How was the longest fight?
See, I lasted longer than that's why I asked him. Mine
yeah, I
lasted
think-
3-4 months.
Wow.
Months?
Well, you couldn't look at each other in studio?
Yeah, it's hard.
That's hard. We had
Twice,
3
times.
blowout right before showtime.
That's a
once.
problem.
That was
No one knew.
and no one knew.
No one knew.
We had
The
a
staff
great
knew.
show. Yeah, because we
That's
were
pretty damn
we were
good.
yelling at each other in the
No one
hallway.
knew.
And then the
Positive.
mics went on, the show started, and we were like this,
I've been there
but
1,000 times.
but just doing the show.
you
know?
can't. You know what? Life's too short. It's not worth it. You guys have been very successful. Well, let's
And
get
Mike,
along.
you know, you're not
Yeah,
going
but
to
3
say
months.
it. Mikey's the
How
problem.
did you do that for
Always
3
is.
months.
They did it for one show and
Someone's
they're
got to
impressed.
say it. Jesus.
You know, it was both
4
our
months.
faults. I could think of 3 or 4. The one time it got recovered because Mike got married. He got remarried. And so he invited me to his wedding.
You're like good. It's someone
So
else
that
you can
helped.
yell at.
So that-
It took a week. He had to get married to get you guys back together.
So that was one that we covered it. Another time, it was 90. We've had 3. There's 3 or 4 of them. So I mean, you have it. I
Were
mean,
you guys
it's very
fighting
difficult.
different, like you both wanted the show to go in different directions,
Yeah.
or one of you interrupted the other? Or
One time, the one time that was a bad one was that we went down to, we were going to the Knicks Pacers in Indiana.
That
It
would
was a
piss
game
me off
6.
too.
Playoffs. It was good. It was 99, 2000.
Yeah, that was a
and
good
we
run
had
for
a
the
flight
Knicks.
from LaGuardia to Indianapolis, and the flight got canceled. So we had to go, and we were flying the day of the game. So we had to fly through Washington, and Mike didn't want to do it. And I said, Mike, we got to get.
Where you just want to blow the whole thing off?
You do the show from the station, and then forget it. I'm not dealing with this, da da da. And I still wanted to deal with going to Washington,
Right.
doing all that, and we didn't do it. That bothered the hell out of me. So I should have let it go, and not that big a deal. Mike don't want to go. We won't go. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
And I got all bent out of shape because hold on now, it's because the flight's canceled. Doesn't mean you can't get to Indianapolis. So you could see both arguments
Right,
there.
yeah.
So that caused a major problem for 3 or 4 and things like those
3 or 4 months.
I'll tell you, there's something else leading up to that.
Yeah, you're right.
Jesus.
There's
There's
something
more
else.
shit leading up to
nightmare.
Look, it's like, what did Mike overpack? I want to take check. No, I got to check a bag. you always take too many shoes, Mike. Fuck you.
You know, there was. I tell you what it was. When you going down to D.C., we had to fly on a smaller plane, and Mike had a bad leg, and he felt that he couldn't go on that small plane. There's no first class.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So Mike was being a prima donna who basically wasn't going to be able to fly first
I
class,
don't
and he
wanna say
wanted to
that.
put his tampon back in and go home. I understand. Chris
I
is a
have to-
regular guy who
I
said,
have
"Fuck
to
it, I'll
take
go
the.
coach."
I have to take the abuse there too. That's my fault. as well.
You take the high road there.
Take the. I mean,
Chris.
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
19 years. I would not have had this if it wasn't for that success.
No, that's what it is.
No,
You know?
and it was a great
Great
fucking
run.
show.
So now I had to make that switch. So now I'm trying to, as we were talking off the air, now I got to try to build this channel up and see if I can.
We haven't even promoted it. I mean,
You don't have- I mean-
I'm watching. I'm listening. I love it. I love the
Hired,
new
you know,
show.
I hired
a few
about
guys.
15, 18 guys.
Yeah,
so
you need like an American flag, a denim jacket with Obama pins, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a video game.
America.
Any
help me.
girls?
yeah, I did. You know what I did?
Okay, good.
I hired a voiceover girl from Boise, Idaho. So she does all the voiceover for the channel. Got a big, sexy voice and everything else. So I need women on that
good.
channel.
I know a girl with giant breasts who's obsessed with you.
That would help too.
Yeah, she wanted to. She really has. She's a busty girl.
Oh, I know the one you're referring to.
Hey,
okay.
Nice kid. That's a nice girl.
Speaking of
I know a girl at Elmont with a magic thumb.
speaking of
You know, Harvey Milk was from Woodmere, Long Island. Did you guys see that?
Was she?
I did not. Did you guys notice that? Did you know that?
Nah, we didn't.
I did not know that. You saw that movie? You saw it was.
I missed that part. I was
too
distracted.
busy. I was too busy looking at his peanut butter teeth. Yeah. You know, the movie when they showed the real guy. Oh wow.
Oh, I know. They
What was
did-
up with his teeth?
It wasn't
They did
peanut
show-
butter rope.
Yeah, well, I was trying to be nice because we got Russo.
That's a rough
I cleaned it
one.
up for
guy's
Russo.
name, the
Hey,
guy's name was Peanut Butter.
broads on the sideline at football games. Does that bother you?
I don't like the sideline people anyway.
But
The
what do
issue- they don't know anything. Yeah.
They don't
Pam
know
Oliver?
anything.
Well, how
Susie
about the
Cole
one?
was the only one I liked.
Well, how about the one in the football this year who asked on Fox? Fox got all upset because it didn't air. but everybody knew about it. They asked Mike Singletary, did you call your mentor this week? They asked before his first game with San Francisco, did you call your mentor this week to ask him, how to approach first game? The mentor was Bill Walsh, who had died. That was a bad one.
Yeah.
You never that famous one?
Jesus. Yeah, that's
And
it.
Singletary did not know how to. Singletary was okay. He didn't kill her about it. But
Right.
Hey, is
Steph,
that, you think that's sexist though? That we don't really like the
no,
female
because I
reporter
think
on
it's
the
the boy
sideline?
guys. The guys aren't that great at that either.
You just don't like him in general?
I don't add a lot.
If they know what Susie Coleman knows what she's talking
good.
about.
Erin Andrews has got ability.
And Joe Namath wanted to kiss her. How do you not gas her back?
Oh, God, is that great?
There's definitely exceptions. Adam's right, but a lot of them they're just eye candy.
Yeah.
They barely know anything.
I can't believe what a big deal that was when Joe Namath when he was hammered.
That was a great
we
love that.
We love
yeah,
that
but I mean,
clip.
just like back
You
when they were making
beautiful.
those Miller Lite commercials, less filling
Yeah,
tastes
yeah.
great. That would have been hilarious. Look at him. He still thinks he's got it. And everyone just would have
Broadway
laughed. That would have been it. Then he had to go to
that.
rehab.
I want to ask Mad Dog one more thing. Something we have fun with on this show. Best sports crying clip of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Schmidt.
Dude, we love these
Schmidt's
things.
good.
Schmidt's a
We
good
can't
one.
get enough of these things. We laugh. I have to be honest.
Schmidt's
We
a
laugh
good
our
one.
asses off.
Dick Vermeil's always pretty good because he cries.
Oh, what
constantly.
Vermeil
He
cries.
Blubbering man
They're
he
out of
is.
eggs.
Federer cried badly after Nadal beat him at the Australian Open. Do you guys know about that one?
No.
Really?
That was tennis. They all could cry.
I know. It was tennis.
You want to hear Mike Schmidt?
The Schmidt,
That's when he retired.
Schmidt
right?
one is
Mike
like,
Schmidt is just amazing.
1988.
Wow, I don't know.
Yeah.
this is a girl cry. He girl cried.
Oh, do you remember when he hit his 500th home run? That little stupid
Yeah,
dance
that's
he
stupid.
did. Oh, that was so
Billy is
bad.
a good Anthony Ederer.
he's good.
He's a good
He's
sports
good.
fan.
I'm telling you,
He is.
get him on your show.
He is
Oh,
good.
I love it.
He's
After
in-
I called him Mike like an asshole.
He's in town for.
Where was that game?
I know.
Where was that game?
If you get that, I really would be impressed.
Well, then obviously it wasn't Veteran Stadium.
No.
It was one of
Pittsburgh,
those
Pittsburgh,
cookie cutter.
Pittsburgh.
I knew it was cookie cutter.
that is good.
You know, he's in town for a few more days before he goes back to L.A. Just
He
saying.
is Anthony.
Just saying.
He's good.
He'd give
I
you some
know.
time if you want.
But he's a little too biased with the whole friggin' Boston thing.
No, I'm not. No, I'm
Those
not. I'm gonna tell you.
Boston-
No, I like Boston before they put the seats up
Oh,
on the Green Monster and they didn't have
stop
the
it.
pink Red Sox. I'm
You
serious,
with the
dude.
goddamn. Everyone
Stop
from
it.
Boston loves Boston.
It's
That's
a
all
great-
they do.
it's a great
that's not
big
true.
sports
That's
town.
not true.
It's a
That's not
religion
true.
up there.
Shut your
They
face. It's
chant
not true.
Yankees suck in
No,
church.
you know what? ESPN was the dream. Wouldn't it be great if they had 24-hour sport network? And it actually, in a way, ruined it because it got too overhyped, man. It just got too fucking ridiculous.
I was just glad
got
you
too
guys
ridiculous.
finally won because I got sick of the whining. We're cursed. We sold Babe Ruth for
See,
a play.
once again,
It
once
almost
again,
worked
once
out
again,
better.
Is that a Yankee
and what
fan?
that is, you know what that
You
is?
a Yankee fan?
That's the
A Met
ESPN.
fan.
Oh, a Met fan.
You know what that is? That's the ESPN hype of what a Red Sox fan. We're all lobster fishermen and tying knots and stuff. Like all New York fans are like, well, hey, I'm walking here. Let me go get a hero. It's like they just do like these caricatures of sports fans. They're not like that. I lived in Boston in 1995. I never even heard of the Curse of the Babe. It was just the Red Sox suck. They fucking blow it every year. That was it. There was none of that. Oh my God, we're all cursed. No, nobody cared.
Did you leave your house
When?
when you lived there? Because everyone else was fucking talking about it.
No, they weren't.
cursed.
You
They
don't
did-
even live
they
there.
did
I
it
lived
not-
there for
they-
27 years. You're going to tell me what we were talking about?
Because you didn't know what was going on in the street. I'm wrong. Everyone's fucking.
Because I went to the games.
All right, fine.
you
HBO
lived
did
there.
an
Because
I
entire-
lived there.
an
Because I lived
entire
there.
They might
documentary
fight.
about it.
Just sit back. This is good.
What?
Nothing.
They did an entire documentary. That was all
Oh, this is
bullshit.
gonna last
It was
for
like-
Dennis
4
Leary,
months.
right?
They're not
Dennis
gonna
Leary
talk
did
to
that
each other.
documentary. Didn't
He
Dennis
sat
Leary?
there. He did it.
Adam's gonna have
Stephen
to get
Wright.
married now.
Yeah.
You gotta get
Get on
married.
the plane, Billy. We got a show.
This is Schmidt
I'm telling you.
Cohen.
Get on the
I'm just
fucking
telling you,
plane,
dude.
Billy.
Like Curse of the Babe didn't exist till Dan Shaughnessy wrote that book.
Yeah, he wrote that book.
Wrote
yeah.
that book. 86. Watch the replay of it on Classic Sports. Vin Scully does not go, and a Curse of the Babe continues with the ball going through Buckner's
Ted
leg.
Williams, I will say this.
Behind
Ted Williams, it has to be in the 60s, addressed someone talking about the curse of Babe Ruth, and he said it's nonsense. Somebody mentioned that Ted Williams in the 60s in an interview, and he said it was nonsense.
Hey,
I made that whole
nonsense.
thing up.
I was going to say,
I just made that
Yeah,
up.
but did you hear the silence you got? Everyone was just like, wow, man.
hey,
I couldn't figure out if you're telling the truth or not.
Russo,
All right, hey, Schmidt.
I gotta tell you,
Schmidt.
we're gonna go to Schmidt, but I gotta tell you one more thing about Bill Burr. Bill K from Philly reminded us, and we haven't mentioned it in a while, but Bill had an incident when we were doing a comedy show down in Philly, and the sports knowledge this guy had about Philly would have just blown you away.
He's a good sports
He
fan, I
took
can
on
tell.
about how many people were there? I don't want to
10,000.
exaggerate.
11.
Let's go 10, 11,000 people were there. They weren't like they were in a weird place that day. They were booing a
I
lot
got
of the
booed,
comedians.
man.
heckling.
That's what he's trying to say. I
Yeah, but
got
that's
booed.
not fair because Bill Burr is a great comedian, and he decided to take on 11,000 people. and just
won.
destroying every Philadelphia sports hero
You
ever.
did. Oh, so you Schmidt and
Oh,
Julius
he went
Erving.
deep.
I went Harold Carmichael. I went.
Oh, you
I went,
did.
I
You
went
went Carmichael too.
Yeah.
He went
deep.
Rocky.
He went after
He even
Rocky.
went Rocky Balboa.
He went after the statue.
I mean,
Wow.
everything.
And you knew all the Philadelphia history, so you could be able to pull that off. That's
Yeah, but,
pretty good.
yeah,
but
the stadium,
this came out of
the
nowhere.
fucking-
He didn't know that he was going to be in this place that
And they
night.
booed and they gave you a
It's
hard
a-
time, so you said, "The hell with it, I'll
Well, you
fight
know,
you
do you
back."
remember when they booed Destiny's Child during the NBA Finals?
Because of the Laker jerseys?
I
Yeah,
did.
the Lakers Sixers NBA glitter thing. I've always
they're
been.
rough.
I was
They're
always
rough.
a fan of their work until I was on the other side. of
Philadelphia
it,
threw snowballs at Santa
Oh,
Claus.
they were rough.
Yeah, Bill, what
You
was
won
your
him back though after
Yeah, he
giving him
won him
that
back at the
thrashing.
end,
They
yeah.
respected him after that.
game
and
of standing ovation?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why you got to love those guys because they'd rather
Phillies had
have
an
you tell them.
incredible
They'd
year of
rather, yeah,
sports.
they'd rather have you fucking.
I mean, the Phillies,
shit.
the Eagles had a great year. They're all down at McNair, but the Phillies had a great year. Now Villanova, they've had a wonderful year in sports.
They've had a good run. Here's Mike Schmidt crying
Oh,
for
yeah.
everybody.
Some 18 years ago, I left Dayton, Ohio, with 2 very bad knees
He's trying.
and a dream to become a Major League Baseball player. I thank God this dream came true.
Oh no!
How can we do that to Mike Schmidt?
That is a crier right
brutal.
there. Boy, that's tough.
And
That is brutal.
Do you
His
know this-
voice goes up like that.
one other thing, because we got to go to break. The George Brett shitting his pants audio.
Oh God!
Do you know anything about that
No,
one?
I don't know that one.
Oh, now that you're on satellite, we're going to give you something to play on your show today. That's
know.
our.
I
would
That's
say-
that's
see, I
gonna
hate-
be that's gonna be our gift to you, my friend.
I hated the Yankees, so I love.
You've never
Brett
heard
because
that?
You
Brett
love the
used to
Royals,
kill
right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
love them
Bill,
too.
oh, they loved these to kill. They used to really. They always lost,
Yeah.
but they gave the Yankees a hard time.
have you heard this?
Except in the '80s.
I
No.
haven't heard it. Do you have the Tommy Lasorda one yelling in the dugout?
That was one of the best
we
teams
got
that never
one.
won, though.
We gotta
Those
go right
things-
to George
Frank
Brett.
White, Willie Wilson, all those guys.
Listen to this
Darryl
clip.
Porter, pre-Coke.
We're trying to.
And Billy is. I am. Have you listened to the channel,
He's
Bill?
on it.
Are you?
No,
are you?
you know-
Are you a Mad Dog listener?
No, I'm a comedian, so I sleep till noon.
So you know. Well, I'm on at 2:00 in the afternoon, Bill.
Is he a Mad Dog listener?
That doesn't even
He kept
help.
calling you Frank.
He's like Mike a couple times. Right.
No, I don't. No, you know what it is? I can't.
Call the
Some of the
water
listeners,
wolf.
it drives me nuts when I listen to people. Just, you know what I mean? It reminds me of getting a TV show on the air where you actually have to listen to morons. You know what I mean? And actually try to implement some of their
burying
shit. Like,
yourself,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a
Thank
great
you.
that's a
Thank
great
you for-
idea.
thank you
Like
for
someone's asked me what's it
articulating
like to
that.
try to get a TV show on the air, and I go, you know, you ever listen to a sports talk show and you hear those morons calling in? He goes, imagine if like Bill Parcells not only had to listen to them, he actually had to implement part of what they said into the game plan on Sunday. That's what it's like. You got people who have never played the game on a professional level, never wrote anything, and they just
Listen, we'd have more field goals if the ball was bigger. What do you think?
Well, Adam,
Make
you
the
were
ball
raising a
bigger.
point about the Boston fans. What were you saying before?
What?
About the
What a son of a bitch.
Jimmy rules.
Jimmy he's a spark.
I said this is America. We both have a difference of opinion, and that's why it's a wonderful.
I don't know
country to
about
live in.
to wrap that whole thing up. I don't know about the Curse of the Bambino stuff, but Boston fans have always been just relentlessly miserable. There's this jealous hatred of New York teams.
No, it really isn't.
Oh,
it really isn't.
stop
You know
it.
something, Anthony?
Stop
I
it.
would never.
We
try
don't
to
go out
define-
chanting
I
Red
would-
Sox
I
suck
would-
in the streets.
I
The
would
second
never-
they see a New York license plate, you get your car spit on in Boston.
There is some of that.
Okay,
There is
all right.
There is
Can I
so much
address
of
that?
that.
When
Bill
he's
Buckner
done,
had to leave states.
When he's done, first of all, I would never try to define a Yankee fan to you because I didn't live here, so I'm not going to say like I know what it's
I
like.
lived
but
in
but
Massachusetts.
I will tell you this.
Ooh.
I've lived in New York for 12 years.
All right, so you could probably define a Yankee
No,
fan.
I can't because I'm look at.
Oh,
this is
Mr. Open-minded. You ever go to the stadium? They are
See,
mostly
this is why he dressed like.
No, let me tell you, because they are
This might
mostly
be the
like
fight,
this.
actually.
Huh?
They are mostly
That's
like
why they stopped
fucking
vaccinating.
A.
You know what it is? He's
That
just afraid.
stereotypical thing you were
He's just
talking
afraid.
about.
I'm going to answer the question.
Oh.
That's all it is.
Okay.
Anthony, you know what? I've been here 3 days. We haven't had a fight yet.
I
We were
know
going
it,
so
it
good.
is true. It was going good.
I say
because
by
you've been
Friday.
away so long, I've missed you.
Friday's the
You know
day.
what's so funny?
The
You
big
annoy me
blowout.
so much. I can't even remember what the question was.
I know. Right?
Anthony was saying, I remember what it was.
What was the question?
Anthony was saying
Oh, God.
basically to Boston fans, because I
Oh, the
threw,
misery,
I
the
threw in the
misery, no.
fact
Yeah.
that Bill Buckner had to leave the state. But I mean, he was saying that Boston fans are a bunch of pussies and crybabies and
Whining.
fucking bitches, and you were saying that that's
Okay, no.
not true.
Yeah.
Go.
This is what they're trying to act. What Yankee fans are trying to act like is after they rubbed our noses in it. for as much. I mean, I used to get unbelievable trashing. All my friends were not only Yankee fans; they were also comedians. So I took unbelievable beatings. And then the second the Red Sox win it,
down 3-0 to do it.
Then they tried to pull this. Oh, you won, whatever. You know, be a good winner. You know, you won. I'm happy for. I mean, you know what? I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy. And they tried to fucking run and hide and not take the beating that they deserve.
Yep.
And because
You've
you've had to take 5 years of this bullshit,
right.
which is like a blink of an eye.
You're right.
You guys are trying to say we're a bunch of babies.
here's
You're
what-
getting
No.
what you deserve.
You're right.
You're getting what you deserve.
You're right.
You're getting what you deserve.
What was that?
Before or after Boston won, regardless, before or after, it's that same mindset. You guys will always hammer New York and the Yankee fans a lot worse than Yankee fans hammer Boston when we're up there visiting or something. It's always this fucking just.
Do you see how myopic his point of view is?
Yankees suck. Yankees suck.
Do you see how this is what it is? He's a Yankee fan who lives in New York, and he's one. It's really nice down here. I don't notice any weirdness. It's because you're from here, you moron.
It is myopic.
No, I'm saying you living in New York should know that you were right when you said most Yankee fans are. Hey, you get a hero, fucking A. You're right.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Go to the stadium.
I have.
Oh, really? And what
checkmate.
You have. And
Checkmate.
What did they say? And you went there with a
Okay,
Boston hat, and they said, "Welcome, my friend."
How you
I
doing?
went to Game 6.
How you doing?
I went to Game 6.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I went to Game 6, 2003.
Right.
And sat right out in the center field bleachers. We got a little bit of shit, but the second they realized that we were cool, we actually had a great time out there. They
Nice.
weren't
They
like
gave
that.
you a
I'm
ride
not
home.
talking about they're going to beat you
Nice.
up or anything like that. I didn't
Pick
mean
a side
that.
of the fence. I don't understand what you're trying to say. You know what I like? How there's really
Well, here's
not
what-
really an argument going on here, but people just keep going,
Well,
ooh.
Jimmy does this all the time. He'll just go,
Oh, now he said that.
when you're just having a discussion to try to escalate it to the next level. He is a son of a bitch, Jimmy Norton. Son of a bitch.
If anybody was to tell me my rabbit wasn't mine,
Yeah,
I'd tweak his little pink tomato nose.
Mad Dog's getting nervous.
Here is the idea, though. The
All right,
Red
here we
Sox
go.
are a better organization right now than the Yankees are.
Yeah, you
The
won't get
Yankees
out-
are
yeah,
the Red
Yankees-
Sox. The Red Sox are the class organization in Major League Baseball.
Yankees
But
done a great
the
job.
Yankees are not.
I
They're
never-
great. Get rid of all the
never
young
liked the
talent.
Yankees.
Bring in the older people. Randy Johnson. That's the move
No,
to
you know what
make.
the Yankees?
Christ.
There's nothing the Yankees like more than a 37-year-old future Hall of Famer.
The worse your back is, the faster they get you to New York. They're fucking terrible.
No, I got scared a couple of years ago when you guys were actually starting to bring up. It's always been your farm team, and then they had a couple of those guys that they added in like '96, like the Paul O'Neills, and those guys weren't like big, huge like free agents. I don't know what they're doing.
They just signed Governor Patterson. I believe.
They did make good moves this year.
As an
Sabathia is going to help.
umpire.
That's a great move.
And Teixeira is going to help him.
But
too.
Teixeira's the real deal. But the only thing about Sabathia is he's got a body like Bartola Colon.
He's good though.
But he's 26. But I'm telling you, he's going to blow out his lower back.
I think
He's
Burnett
one of
might
those-
be awful. Burnett might
Cheetos.
He
after
reminds
every
me
game.
of Louis Tiant. He's built like Louis Tiant, the big barrel.
That guy. He's modeling
Gian was
now.
a great pitcher.
Yeah, but he was enormous.
Stop lying.
What?
Just stop already, please.
I want the Jimmy Sports Almanac.
I
He's
love
pulling his
Jimmy.
info from.
Let's bring this together with
that's funny.
the George Brett audio.
I gotta
mean,
hear
a
this.
little
Let me
George
and
Brett.
maybe this might be too much for your show, I'm thinking, but let's take a listen. This is real.
Then, to tell you how sick I was, And then I'm standing outside my car and get on my cell phone and I call the guy.
That was
I said, "Larry,
static.
you won't believe this. I'm standing outside the fucking
It
Bellagio.
was off mic.
I can't move. I got shit everywhere. I shit all over myself. And Larry's about a 48 waist. So he brings me over a pair of pants and some towels. And so he comes over and he meets me where I tell him where I'm standing. He finds the closest bathroom. When you go up the escalator to go into the I can't get in the elevator. You know? So he goes in, he finds the closest bathroom in the lobby of the hotel, and then I get in the escalator, and he kind of pretends like he dropped something so no one gets behind me, tells me where it is. I go in there, he goes and gets the towel all wet for me, throws it over the fucking stall. I take off all my fucking clothes, just wipe off, leave my shoes, my pants, everything right there, the towels right there in the stall, and I'm walking barefoot with my shirt and his pants that are 48 waist through the lobby like this at midnight. Got up in the morning, took the most perfect double tapered shit I've ever had in my life. True story.
True, and then he goes, true story.
True story.
Who's the pitchers in this game?
great. Those are pictures in this game.
That's actually mislabeled. That was part 2. If you want to hear part 1, you know.
It
was reversed.
That doesn't matter.
What do you?
I can't hear that.
That sums it up.
Because
Come on. And
I love Brett. He was one of my favorite
after that,
players.
you hear "Welcome to Mad Dog Radio." You don't like that? That's perfect.
The only thing that was great about part 1 was how it starts, because some pitcher is just talking to him, and then I guess George just wanted to tell the story, so he tries to just just make the conversation. So he goes, farted. Shit my pants the other day.
It just comes out of nowhere.
Oh God.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess
great.
I guess you're not taking that with you.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that. I had not heard that before.
That's a good one.
We have to.
No segue, Brett.
We definitely have to take a break, and then we're gonna wrap up. But Russo, I mean, come on, come by more often, please.
You guys,
Absolutely.
we'll
be in the same goddamn building.
And you're building up
glass
right
building.
next to you. You got nice
Crystal
studios.
Palace.
We're gonna put you in a good spot.
We're building. You're building a nice channel there. XM 144, Series 123, Mad Dog Radio. Huge lineup here.
Good lineup. Yeah, we got the guy from Charlotte's good. Gary Williams, the nighttime guy's good. An overnight guy in San Francisco. If you like sports, I told you this last time.
And I like the Doghouse, an hour of the day's
that's
best
not
callers.
bad. We do that.
That's a smart idea.
7-8.
That is good.
Is Pharrell on your channel, or does he?
No, he's on. No, he's not.
Oh, he's okay.
No.
Can't you just throw him over on your side?
Well, we thought of that. We considered it, but I don't know. I'm not as big a Pharrell fan. Everybody like Pharrell?
He's hey, look,
he's in.
He's been on here before, hasn't he?
Yeah, we used to.
Everybody kissed and made up. I haven't seen him yet, so fuck him.
Yeah, I haven't seen him yet either.
I haven't seen him yet since he bashed us. So fuck him in the ass.
Where did he do that?
Oh, on the air.
Yeah,
he got on the air and just started saying some nasty shit. Yeah. Apparently, there's some talks have been, back and forth about, making up and everything.
I ran into him. He was cool.
But
but you haven't seen him
I
yet.
have no use for him, to tell you the truth.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
I say
it gets confusing.
What is
with
he
us.
doing knocking you guys for?
Because he started up with Howard.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing.
Are you guys too down on that? What's going on with the three of you there? You and Howard?
we still have our run-ins.
Right. We don't know
One
who
big
we're
happy
fighting
family,
on any...
though, now. One big happy family.
You're right next to us.
Russo, I got to tell you,
Great.
it's exhausting being us, because it's like every day we're like, all right, wait, who are we fighting? Who are we making up with? It's just this whole thing with us.
The scourge of
It's a
society.
fucking hurricane
You know what
all the
happens
time.
when I go on the road and you get the press schedule and you go on the road? I'm like, what radio station? I can't do that station.
Yeah, that's
It's like, why can't I do it? Never mind, I'm not going on.
Yes,
what did
exactly.
he do? I'm not
Safe
gonna
to
fucking
say
talk
we'll
about
hate
it.
you one day. But then we'll
get out of here.
And then we'll make up and it'll be fun.
Yeah, you can't. It's
I'm
we're a
just
happy
fucking around.
family here. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Anthony, especially you. You got to get bounce back.
I tell him that,
One
but he's like
big happy
refuses to.
family.
Now you got to let that go. You got to let it go.
He's so the problem.
I didn't even think
He
about
really
it
is.
until
He
it was
holds on
brought
to
up.
it.
Yeah, see, me
But
and Jimmy have been trying to talk
Now that
about
it's brought
this.
up,
You can't hold on to it. You just got to let
Let
it.
it go. Let it
Yeah,
go.
let it go.
let it go.
It's about time you let these things
Pharrell's
I'll
a good
let it
sports guy, though. I
No,
can't
you
take that
won't.
away from him. The guy, he's a good sports guy.
He likes sport.
knows a
Not
lot
my
about
cup
him.
of tea, but that doesn't mean
That's
it's
right.
He's
a big,
good
fan
sports guy.
base.
You
I'll
know,
say that.
Hitler
Follow.
painted. So
Look, I don't want
He's a good painter.
to. I don't want to pull a George Brett. I gotta, hit the bathroom.
Oh,
so.
what's the matter? You're gonna?
Why did he
pants?
borrow a pair of Steve's pants?
Hopefully, it's a nice double tapered one. there.
Opie's
yeah.
got a pine
luck
tar
to you.
bat in his
Mad
pants.
Dog, Chris Russo, always a pleasure, buddy.
Good
Mad
job,
Dog
Op.
Radio.
Thanks, pal.
Oh, yeah,
XM 144
absolutely.
Series
Thanks, man.
123. We'll wrap up next. There's also a very special listener that wants to say hi to you today, Ant.
Really?
Yeah, she was instant feedbacking, telling me how boring Chris Russo was, which
Really?
really made me happy.
Chris was very good.
I had fun.
Well, I think
like
because it's
Chris.
sports talk, I guess. God forbid we do a little sports talk every once in a while.
Someone who's not.
God forbid we
not a
don't talk
sports
about
fan.
what she wants us to
Yeah.
talk about.
Well, what does she want us to talk about? Why don't she come forward? Is she going to introduce herself, or should I do the big reveal? This is the famous lady trucker.
Oh yeah, I know that. I recognize the picture. There you go. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Where'd you park the rig?
What's that?
She's carrying it.
You don't see my belly?
Where did you park the truck?
That last rest area on the turnpike.
And then what do you do?
Yeah, how do you get from there?
Walk to the bus station and take the bus over.
Oh, there you go. You got it all figured out. She came by just to say hi, so.
So you didn't like the Chris Russo talk? We love Chris Russo.
Yeah,
I don't. The sports talk's boring.
When you walked past the bus stop, did people wave to try to make you stop?
No, I had the full out of service sign on top of my
Oh,
head.
okay. All right.
That's not bad. It was good. Out of service.
Check.
Okay.
Yeah, out of service.
Yeah,
Sign.
she's got balls to show
She
up.
comes right back. Believe me.
She's got the balls to show up.
Yeah.
She's not nameless
That's
and
good.
faceless, that's for sure.
No, no.
There was
She's
something to be
always
said
been
for that.
Huh?
She's a lovely lady.
Yeah.
Have
She's
you
always been,
badmouthed me?
Arsenio Hall's
No, Jimmy, I
dentition.
love you.
Okay,
Happy
thank
birthday.
you. Thank you very much.
No, she had
ignore
said
the-
I was fat.
She said you were
You
fat.
did look a little
No, I said you had a big belly and a sunken chest. Now get it right.
Yeah, that was it. A big belly and a sunken chest. And I'm like, what? And it was.
This is coming from the glass house.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's.
I don't like this
something.
attack on Lady Trucker. It's making me uncomfortable.
Hey, no.
The fact that you have hair like Tanner Boyle shouldn't bother anybody.
Another great player.
The fact that you know his last name.
How do you not? That kid was hot.
Trying to
Fucking amazing.
was a great hitter, great catcher. Amazing. The Bears, they went all the way that year.
And his father fought bare knuckles.
Yes. And I wish I could do the voice because then I'd say, and the coach of the opposing team lost his head a few years later in a Twilight Zone film.
No, it was just, you gotta say it was justice for smacking his son in the face on the pitcher's mound. He's trying to play the game. He's just pitching the ball. He's pitching
You're
a little
wrong, Mike.
inside. He
You're
almost
wrong.
hit the batter, but no reason he should get his head chopped off with a helicopter.
You're wrong, Mike. No man should be decapitated. You're wrong.
Hey, dog.
Oh, shut up, fat boy.
Shut up, Mike. Why don't we just do an uncomfortable show for 4 months?
I gotta fly first class, dog. I got a bad leg, dog.
His bad leg and didn't want to fly coach.
You fucking prima douche. Shut up.
You prima don.
Fancy man.
You.
Yeah.
4 fucking months.
4 months.
Dog,
Jesus.
Dog,
And you know-
dog. It's a nickname.
Yeah.
Dog.
And you know, Mad Dog wants to like solve every problem immediately.
Oh,
He has
yeah.
to sit there because Mike's not ready.
Not ready to fess up with the old, maybe I was wrong, or let's just blow this off.
That's like if we had a fight today, April, May, June, July. Late July, we would figure it out. Jesus, thanks a lot, Mike, you asshole.
What are you doing for the 4th of July?
Yeah, right.
Hey, I would be worried
was your
if
spring?
Anthony was mad at me for
How
that
was your
long.
spring? Billy just goes, how was your spring?
So did you see that Dallas season?
I gotta stretch my legs out, dog.
Yeah, basically, they're missing most
Get on
of
a
the
plane, you fucking idiot.
They're missing most of the baseball season without talking. Fucking asshole.